All right. I'm gonna run some stuff in the background for you guys. Let me put out my tweet. My tweet is now out. Let's close this. Let's get restream up. Close out edit. Close this out. We gotta go here. Um, gotta go over here. Today's a special. Well, first of all, good morning and good afternoon to many of you guys around the world. This is a specific special stream. Um, we're gonna talk about some stuff. Oh, wow, Chelsea Manning gets released. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. All right, so we'll start with this bit of note. Now pause that. I will leave this, so we'll just pause this. This is views. Hmm. What's going on Facebook? I see 5 of you guys are live, so oops. Let me get this chat browser up and running. How do you pause this? Oh, there we go. I wanted to get that pause because I need this stat right here. Who's the first person in our YouTube chat? Welcome. Thank you for coming through. This is an early morning stream, guys. Early morning stream. Let me get this. I'm out here putting some of the stuff out there for everybody to see. I'm gonna be focused on today's stream. Kind of like focus on um, information about the coronavirus, how it's affecting us. You know, gamers saw we face problems like this all the time. In fact, we have a whole game on stuff like this called Plague Inc. and how we address problems. Now, some of you may be like, well, Triforce, this is a real life situation. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm streaming it. It's a real life situation. It's not a game. And there's a way we can deal with this, and I want to spend at least the next 4 hours on talking about what gamers should know and the advice on how to deal with this global pandemic. Because I think the biggest problem we have is ignorance. We just don't have enough information. People don't know how to deal with this issue because we're all sitting here waiting for a vaccine. But anyone ever sat down and thought about what if a vaccine doesn't come? What do you do? Now, I for one am not going to sit here and die. So, and I wouldn't think anybody wants to sit here and die. So, I'm going to try to give you guys as much of the advice and information I know regarding the coronavirus, how it's here in Jamaica, how it is around the world, and like why certain areas deal with it better than other areas. There's a whole lot to talk about regarding that. Let me go get you guys. Let me let me try to get you guys some stuff on how to deal with this. So that's the first things first. So I put out the tweet. I put it in the Discord. Let me grab the actual YouTube link. Copy link address. I'm gonna put this in the Discord as well, so everybody can see. I'm going to go into the community hall as well. So if you're a part of our Discord and you're our community hall, if you guys have any questions, I'll take those as well, and I'll give you guys the best answers I know to help you out. So if you don't know, if there's something about the coronavirus you do not know about or how to deal with this type of epidemic, um, ask a question. Don't feel that you can't ask any questions because you look stupid. This is a viral issue. Jamaica, we get a lot of this stuff. Zikv, Chickv, you name the virus, it's been in Jamaica. We body these viruses, and there's a reason why we body these viruses. And I can give you guys that information on how we body it and how you can deal with it yourself. Stuff I've been telling people about when the virus first broke and there was very little information on it. I was telling people what I can do, what I'm doing to put myself in a position to be able to, in case there's a 90% chance I'm going to get it. There's a 90% chance you're all going to get it because it's a virus. There's no, you can't stop it. It's already spread around the world. You cannot stop it. Even though they're locking off borders to nations and stuff like that, it's too late. It's already there. The virus's job is going to jump from host to host. Quarantine, it's too late. And like this is, they did not. Let me not say they did not see this coming because chances are they did. But the point is that they're too late. That's the problem here. They're too late. Although they know it, it's just there's nothing they can do about it. It's already out of the block, and with it being out of the block, not much anybody can do about it. All right, let me see something. I want to make sure everything's good on Facebook. As you guys can see, that's a live indicator that's running in the background. Oh, big shout outs to Fatality. Thank you for the like on Facebook, man. I appreciate it. That is a real time indicator of the virus globally that's going on. So I just wanted to give you guys some information on that and whatnot. But I'm going to be chilling with you guys for at least 4 hours. I'm not going to do anything longer than that. 4 hours is cool. And then I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to come back to what's the name of this thing here? Facebook later on with my wife, and we're going to do a stream. We'll get a little update and so forth. But if anybody's going to beat this virus without any worries, it's going to be gamers. We just have a knack for, like, no matter what the stress is, no matter what the problem is, we we'll relax a little bit. We'll get that info. We remain calm. We gather the intel. We solve the problem. And trust me, this is a problem we can solve outside of any government of any world helping us. The government's going to do what the government's going to do to solve the problem. But until then, we have a responsibility to ourselves and our family to be able to fight the disease on our own. We can't expect the government to fight every single battle there is in the world for us. And for some reason, it feels like the world has literally turned into that. When there's a problem, it looks to the government to solve everything, and the government cannot solve everything. Sometimes we got to take on these battles on our own. Um, let me give the first. Let me give some first, like, real advice. I know I'm going to be saying this multiple times throughout the stream. Oh, big shout outs to Baron Jones on Facebook. Thank you for the like. Um, the first thing you guys need to understand is that bacteria and viruses cannot survive in certain environments. I'm no doctor. I don't claim to be a doctor or like that, and I'm not giving any professional advice. I'm giving you natural advice for we people here in Jamaica on how we deal with these viruses, because we seems to always get these viruses in Jamaica. Like I said, from the Chick V to the Zika virus to the Zik V and all types of other stuff. We've been hit with some real serious viruses, but we body these viruses down here. They get washed like Tetris blocks. And there's a reason why, because we've realized that these viruses cannot survive in certain um, environments. Our diet helps, and I want to kind of get into that, guys. Diet. Um, one moment. Um, 1 second. Whoa! What just happened to my game? On the kitchen table, can you cut a piece of lime and bring it to me, please? My game stopped for randomly no reason. Let's see what that's about. Okay, there we are. We're back. me let me close this Elgato and then reopen it. I don't know what was wrong with that.
What's that? You got key lime over there?
I don't know what line I have, to be honest with you. It's not even important. As long as I have line, period. I had to activate and deactivate my game. I don't know what's going on here.
Uh,
Oh my goodness, my game went out. That sucks. All right, I'm waiting for my wife. Where is she? Oh, did you cut it? I just need half. Okay, thanks. Just all right. I'll go to full screen for with this until I can get the thing. So down here in Jamaica, let me put this let me put this out there for everybody. This is not medical advice. This is not scientific advice. I just want to put this out there. It's important for people to understand. What I'm about to give you is not medical and it's not scientific. I am not a physician. I am not a doctor. I am not a professional. And sometimes in situations like this, you don't need any of those. This is a lime. Well, half a lime, a piece of lime. And this morning, every morning, when we have, you know, illnesses, bacteria, and stuff like that, we take a lime and we cut it and we do this. This is kind of really annoying, but you get used to it. Mm. Mm. It's also good for brushing your teeth. So this is called a lime shot. The acidic properties of this alkaline. Okay, what's one moment? Cause yeah, the acidic the acidic properties of this alkaline food here um, strengthens your immune system and gives the body a boost. It's like playing. It's like an extra clip of bullets for you to be able to fight the condition of the viruses and so forth today. Something a lot of people don't take into consideration. I don't know why, but yes. So that's what that does. You take one of those a day, and you give yourself a powerful fighting chance against any bacteria or viruses throughout the day. Uh, I encourage people to kind of do that once a day, especially in this time. I have something right here in front of me. Let me show you guys this. I'm going to go to full screen as well. This is a sliced onion, right? And I cut this onion last night, and I simply just have it right on top of my desk in front of me, facing me like this. Onions absorb bacteria and it absorbs viruses in the air normally. Think before there was Lysol, there were onions. And it's good to just cut a nice little onion and put it in front of you. These things, I am not saying that they cure anyone or they're remedies for anyone or any nonsense like that. These are, let's choose a proper word for this. These are natural hacks that help your situation. And it's why certain regions in the world, like Africa or any areas where people are, where we kind of like, how do we survive these viruses like Ebola and ZikV and ChickV and all that other stuff, and now Corona 19 and any other diseases that there and viruses that will come about or of us because whether natural or man-made, we use the natural hacks that help us in our day-to-day situation and life and keep us healthy. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that and what you can do to help yourselves regarding the virus. I'm trying to see if I can get this game back on. See, the game is on my screen here, but wow. Please wait a moment. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait. Looks like the game's gonna be down for a little bit. Give it a second, guys. Big shout outs to Troy. Reddick, thank you for the like on Facebook, man. A big shout outs to you guys. And I also want to give a shout outs to the 2 people on Twitch, the 8 people on YouTube, and the 1 and 2 people on Facebook. And also, let's take a look at the chat. Good morning, that boy, Nick Jones, Danny R. Hey, Kalia, what's up? And Piccolo son, what's going on? Let's see. Good morning, what's up, Triforce? Triforce, early afternoon. Wow, yeah, I know. Well, no, this particular stream, I wanted to do this stream because I want to spend 4 hours, and there's a lot of people panicking and going crazy. I'm getting DMs from people. Triforce, what do I do? And and I want to really just. I thought that like, all right, let me do a stream where people can ask questions where I can give them advice and answers that I think I know that will help them and help everyone kind of get through this, because there's something worse than the actual virus pandemic, and that's a panicking pandemic. When you have a bunch of people panicking, that worsens the situation. Worsens not even a word. That exacerbates the problem. And in order, like I said, in order for gamers to actually do better, well, in order for gamers to deal with the situation, deal with a problem, one, we remain calm. Two, we get as much information as we can, and that helps us solve the problem. Danny, what Piccolo says, viruses can only survive in certain environments, and it so happens that humans have the ability to control the environment that is their body. Yes, thank you, Piccolo son. That is very true. Hello, Triforce. I've seen your YouTube and I find your content entertaining. Thank you. Wait, Aniki? Yes. Thank you, Aniki from Twitch. Kalia says, I was straight up thinking about limes because they are dope in this situation. Well, it's not just limes, guys. You guys can do limes, grapefruits, orange juice, lemons. Uh-oh. Now let me stop. Let me see something. Who hit me up? All right, nobody. Wow, there's no signal on my Elgato. I'm getting upset right now. My game was just working and just popped out. I think the Elgato is going out. That would suck if it is. Let me deactivate it right now. And Nikki laughed. He says, haha. No, like, so here's something people don't know about the virus. Like I was saying earlier in the stream, you're gonna get it. There's a 90% chance you are going to get it. Because it if if for instance someone flies in, they test that they have it. Who did they come in contact with on the way here? Chances are so many people have it right now, but the only reason why they don't know that they have it is because they haven't gone testing for it. And that's what you're seeing here. So you see these numbers and you're like, oh my goodness, but there's something that everyone needs to understand. The virus seems like it's getting out of hand. Now the virus is not. Uh-oh, what happened to the game again? Okay. It's not that the virus is getting out of hand. You have to understand that it's a virus. That's what it's supposed to do. Everyone is losing their minds on something that's what a virus is supposed to do. One moment, please. Let's see. So as you can see here, 69,000 cases in the world, 5,056 deaths, right? And there's recovery for the different amount of people around the world. So let me see something here. Um, hmm. The daily cumulative, cumulative daily. Hmm. Well, look, it's that's a really okay percentage. Something Donald Trump had said. He finally let some information out of the bag, which is good because people now understand the truth behind it because a lot of that information was literally being kept private, and that is that the virus attacks everybody indiscriminately. However, the virus, the death toll hits those with weak immune systems. So elderly people and people young, real young children And people with respiratory or low immune systems are the ones that are at the greatest risk. You can recover from it because there are antibodies that can help you, whatever, but the virus can do a lot of massive damage to you if you fit in that category. The average person with good health will that we're gonna this the virus gets washed. I'm talking the virus gets bodied free. It just gets destroyed. So it's going to look for weak hosts, go into them, and do its damage. So the ideal here is to keep your immune system up. So you have to start looking at foods that help boost your immune systems. These hacks will help you be able to fight off the viruses. Something I don't know Something I don't understand. Why isn't public information for everyone? Let me see something here. How do we help ourselves, Triforce? What's the right thing to do? Well, give me a second. We got a loud bike coming. Yes. So for us people down here in Jamaica, how we beat these viruses and whatever, you have to you have to keep your immune system up, and that's why I took a lime shot this morning. So my breakfast was carrots and string beans with a little bit of I forgot the name of the fish my mother made. She made some fish and ginger and curry sauce. Had a little bit of fish and ginger and curry sauce with carrots and string beans. That was my breakfast. I eat vegetables, grains, fruits and stuff like that. I like. I'm not trying to hate on any meat haters right now, but try eating less foods that are breathing grounds for viruses, and mucus-based foods do that. That includes meat. Yeah, fish as well, but I limit my fish as well. So I would suggest that you guys limit your intake of meat as well. Try to focus more on the other the actual foods, like the ones that God put on here for us to eat. But yeah. And no, I'm not necessarily a vegetarian. I just I know what they do to the foods and I just can't deal with that. Knowing what they have done to the foods and then continue to eat it because it tastes good. Yeah. Uh no. So like yeah. That's like you know you see this fine looking girl and she has every STD in the world plus AIDS and you go, "Yeah, but she looks hot and when you have sex with her it feels so good." Y- No. You won't have sex with her. Uh yeah, you're worried about your health. Well, actually, clearly people aren't worried about their health, so that's the sad part about it. That's really the sad part about it. All right, deactivate. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I was supposed to actually start a game, but I can't start a game. 1 second. Oh, I didn't know my wife was behind me this entire time. Um, I use that analogy because it's the truth of the matter. It's like it's just stupid. Like, why would anyone want to have um, why would anyone want to, be in a situation like that? I'll tell you what I'll do for in the meantime. For right now. Whoa, what? How did that happen? Oh, because I got the camera over here. So thank you. We'll leave it up here just for now until I can get this game operating. I'll be checking back and forth. Let me see something. Go to full screen. Where is the Elgato? Let's try to get it back. Let's activate blue screen. Word. No blue screen. De- deactivate. Okay, I bet some people will risk it. Of course, some people will risk it because they have no discipline. But Triforce, meat and fish is amazing. Hey man, if you want to have sex with that hot looking chick who has every disease known to mankind in her, it's on you, man. I can only give advice. Do what you think is right. One moment, guys. I had to mute Wes in the room, but and then he left. But sorry, Wes. I don't know if you're listening to the stream, but Like you have a lot of noise in your background. There's just too much noise. We have a donation. Come on, man. Let's take a look here. Okay, Deku donates $10 and he says, "Thanks for the information, advice. I'm definitely gonna put this into effect right away." Well, I'm glad you find some use of the advice. Thank you, Deku, for the $10 donation. Um, Let me go unmute West now, but I gotta inform this guy that, like, listen, the noise that he has in his background just is gotta go to push to talk, man. Gotta go to push to talk. It's very difficult. Let me leave the call and I'm gonna go back into the community hall. All right, and then let me check this out. They would sacrifice their whole life for one night. Actually, so funny. Um, I can see people sacrificing their entire life for one night of pleasure. What I can't understand is how people will sacrifice their whole life for taste. Like it's just taste. I guess they're both equally the same. Who cares? But you have to have a certain, like, you have to want to care about your life, man. You really do. This is nuts, man. How come all of a sudden this game really? 1 second, guys. Let me try to take a look at what the problem is. I did not shake the bed or anything like that. I don't know why this went out. Sorry about that noise right there, guys. That was me blowing into the HDMI. The HDMI cord maybe have a short in it. It may have a short. Let's But Bruce Kent, what's going on? Mr. Terrific could create the cure. Um, God already has done most of those things already. This is great advice. Eating less and eating right when the virus started, which is good. You need the willpower. Cold showers is good for that. All right, let's try this again. I really don't want to have to restart the stream. This is gonna really suck. I don't even know why. I don't understand why this even I don't understand how this even happened. It's just like I was just standing here, didn't touch the desk, no nothing. It's like, bow, the game just went out for no reason. It's nice to know that you're willing to help people and advise them. Well, it's first of all, this benefits everyone. This running around screaming and everyone losing their minds over the virus is not good for anybody. To be very honest with you, people need to remain calm. They really do. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. Let me go check out Facebook, see if anybody on Facebook has any questions. Oh, we have one comment on Facebook. See, I didn't even see that comment on. Oh, 20 minutes ago, Fatality said, "What's up, brother? Hope you do well. Enjoy the stream." Thank you, Fatality. I appreciate it, man. Haven't heard from you in a while, B. Keep yourself safe. I hope you take some of this advice, man. Get those limes and get that lemonade juice and your grapefruit juice up, orange juice. All of those juices, all of the citrus juices help, guys. It help builds your immune system. Hey, look, put it like this, right? Because some people will call BS, you're full of it, Triforce, whatever. But hear me out on juice and your grapefruit juice up, orange juice, all of those juices, all of the citrus juices help. I don't know why that I hate just to make a comment. It's so stupid. Just to make a comment, it does that. But hear me out on this, right? Um, okay. 1 second. I'm just writing Fatality a message. Thanks for stopping by. All right, now let me go back to my main page here. I should be sharing this on Facebook. For those, you guys can check out Jamaica games and stuff like that. That's where I put most of my stuff. I'll put this in a couple of rooms as well throughout the time so people can see some of these stuff. If they have any questions, they can ask, and I'll give you guys the most advice I can give. And my advice is based, this is all based on how we deal with viral issues like this, like life-threatening viral issues. Put it like this, because just to put perspective to the coronavirus, the Zika virus, the Chick V virus, is more deadlier than the coronavirus. I want to put that in perspective. And we body the coronavirus and we body the Zika virus down here in Jamaica. It's not what you guys think. It is a serious virus. Don't get it wrong. But if we have to put this in tiers, think of this like a fighting game. It's a low tier virus. If you have the proper health and you have good health and good hygiene and you do the things like wash your hands and stuff like that, you know, you'll be golden. You won't have any of those problems. You'll be golden. All right, Fate. Take care, man. Take care. So, the what's the word for this here? The advice I'm giving to you guys is real time and it's based off experience. You don't believe me? Type in Zika virus Jamaica or Chick V virus Jamaica, and you see how Jamaica dealt with the virus. Um, it's not just Jamaica neither. It's the entire Latin American region. Period. Um, and some of our quote unquote life hacks helps the situation, guys. It helps the situation. Yo, I really wanted to play this game, and I can't play the game. The game literally zonked out on me. I'm upset. I'm tight. Let me deactivate it. Take it out of the loop out here. Let me plug this out. 1 second, guys. Go here, and we're gonna go full screen so we can keep up to date. In fact, while I'm taking care of this, guys, I'm gonna put you guys. Let me see any questions you guys have. So let's see here. I can't drink orange. His ice, I'm allergic. Then try to see if you can drink grapefruit juice. Pineapple juice. Even apple juice works. How long before the first toilet paper beheading? Well, people, there's other ways of cleaning your butt without toilet tissue. Like there's water and soap, people. Like you may go, ew, that's gross, but you know it's gross? Not having toilet tissue to wipe your butt. That's gross. A cornera is a test from the gods weeding out the weak. No, the wheat from the shaft. Only the strong will remain. That's one way of looking at it. All right, Just League versus Trial. Five of the great films. Toilet paper war. Um, we go hard in these streets. Don't hog all the rolls on the shelf. All right. I've always hated that Just Dance was more popular than Dance Central. Okay, Dance Central was the one console, and it was fun. It was a fun dancing game. That is random. All right, so guys, okay, let me run something for you guys here. We got somebody in the Discord room. What's going on, Frank? We streaming right now. Yeah, I'm literally going to put for 5 minutes. I'm going to try to deal with this situation with my game because for some reason it's out. But I'm going to run an issue in the background because periodically through these 4 hours, I'm going to be going through various news sites that talks about the coronavirus or provides more information from professionals about it. I'm just giving advice based on my experience with viruses and try to give people as much information I know on how they can deal with the situation. As long as we remain calm and as long as we get as much information as we can on the virus, it'll up our chances to be able to fight it. So I'm going to mute, and you guys can listen to the stream for what we got going on. So,
All right.
all right.
Keep calm and carry on, perfect phrase right now for both the Democrat and the Republican candidates. Now, presidential candidates Bernie Sanders and former Vice President Joe Biden have made statements today regarding the coronavirus. And a debate between the two has been moved from Phoenix to Washington, D.C. It's going to be held without an audience. Well, you know, people will be tuning in. So for the 360 View, we turn to our political panel. Jan Ronis, federal attorney and Democratic strategist, and Renard Jackson, conservative commentator and author of the book Righting Wrongs, My Political Journey in Black and White. Old-time friend, first time on the show. Glad you could join us. And live in studio with the both of you. Okay, I'm going to start. You're fresh. You're new to the panel. Has the coronavirus been made too political?
Yeah, I think so. It's got caught up in presidential politics, and you would think normally a crisis like this bring Americans together, but it's not working this time. People are trying to score.
Okay, we're not going to listen to that news because that's just corny. I want information on the virus, not the politics behind the virus. So, moving from that, give me a moment, guys. Let me get you guys something more important to listen to. Let's see. Wow, can someone? I'm looking at the news right now. Okay, let's see. This is crazy. It's feds. That's something else. This was 1 day ago, right? All right. Let's see. Tracking Cornera. All right. Let's go with this one.
We've got breaking news coming into us right now that I need to share with you before we continue with our corona coverage. Chelsea Manning, a whistleblower who's been in prison now for quite some time. Once again, Chelsea Manning is here on the news with Rick Sanchez, because the information on the coronavirus front is just coming in so fast and so furious and constantly changing that we want to be able to give you the information in real time, all the information as it comes in. It's especially the stuff that's affecting you, your family, and stuff that's changing around the globe. Here to debut this segment for us tonight is Michelle Greenstein, reporting from our global coronavirus update desk. Michelle, take it away.
Okay, Rick, thank you. A few major stories we're following here this evening. In Italy, the entire country is on lockdown. The entire country is quarantined, all 62 million people. The government has instructed people to stay at home as much as possible. And what you're looking at now is footage from Rome, where police today are making sure that all people stay at least 3 feet apart. Additionally, the government has ordered the halt to all commercial activity except things like supermarkets and pharmacies, and all businesses that are open do need to close at 6 p.m. Now, in Iran, the vice president has actually contracted this novel coronavirus along with 2 other cabinet members. That's him right there. By the way, Foreign Minister of Iran, Javad Zarif, is taking the opportunity to call for an end to U.S. sanctions. He said, quote, this is the last thing he tweeted. He said, Donald Trump is maliciously tightening U.S. illegal sanctions with the aim of draining Iran's resources needed in the fight against COVID-19. The world can no longer be silent as U.S. economic terrorism is supplanted by its medical terrorism. Now, although the situations in Italy and Iran, Rick, seem like they're really headed downhill, in China it appears the crisis may in fact be waning. In Tuesday, the last 2 of the 16 temporary hospitals that were built in Wuhan have actually been permanently shut down. So these 16 hospitals in total held 13,000 patients, and they are now all permanently closed because they are no longer needed. So a small bit of good news there. Now, over in the United States, where over 1,000 people have contracted this novel coronavirus and over 30 have died, in Washington state, the governor has actually banned all gatherings of 250 people or more for fear that this virus could spread. Now, in the state of New York, the CDC just gave that state $16.7 million to help combat the spread of the disease. And this is, of course, part of the $8.3 billion in emergency funding that Trump just signed last week. Now, also in the state of New York, they've created a coronavirus containment zone in New Rochelle, and that's what you're looking at right now. New Rochelle has more than 100 cases. It's about 25 miles outside New York City. And starting Thursday, Rick, all schools and other large gathering spots are going to be shut down for at least 2 weeks. And the National Guard has been deployed to provide food and other medical services. Now, in Washington, D.C., today, a state of emergency has been declared, with D.C. health officials recommending that all non-essential mass gatherings be either canceled or rescheduled. And that means all gatherings of 1,000 people people or more. Now, finally, in the U.S., I want to take you to West Virginia, where the National Guard is currently training hospital medical staff on how to wear this protective equipment. What you're looking at now is a member of the West Virginia National Guard giving training to staff at Cabell Huntington Hospital in West Virginia. And as we know, Rick, finally, to close out before I kick it back to you, we've got colleges and universities all moving their classes online. Ohio State, Harvard, Duke, University of Pittsburgh, University of North Carolina, all of Florida State universities, all of these classes will now be moved online. At least 135 colleges are doing this, and some are also kicking students out of their on-campus housing as well.
Wow, this is a lot going on. Thanks so much for bringing us up to date, Michelle. We look forward to any developments as they come in. Thanks
Thank you.
again.
Okay. So most of that news is all old news. Most of you guys would have already known about that type of news anyway. So you guys know about old schools. I did not know that they locked off New Rochelle. I heard that there was a part of New York that was being quarantined, but I didn't know it was New Rochelle. So that's actually news for us. Let me see some of the comments in the room from you guys. Cornelius, what's going on? Good morning, man. I see the reason dancing. Okay, humans will have less faith that what they are seeing is possible. Dance moves and okay. Danny's getting is taking L's in 2 streams last night. No, I didn't. Yup. Oh, you guys are. I don't even know what even happened last night in last night's stream when we was on Player Essence stream. But yeah. Let's see here. All right. I'm trying to get my game to work, guys. I do not know what's going on. I just don't understand what's going on. Wait a minute. Oh, I think I was going to plug out the wrong thing. Bam. So just plug that out, right? White, no red. Okay, the game's on. 1 second, guys. I'm testing this out now. HD capture. All right, it's not working. Come on. What made you zonk out like that, huh? What made you zonk out like that? That's crazy. Okay, let's deactivate it altogether. This is what we're gonna do. We're going to literally, okay, yeah, bro. We're going to remove. No. Let me see if I could get you guys another story while I work on this. Give me a second. That's the feds. No, we're not. We can't do that. Oh, nope. We can't do this. So schools all around.
News coming in.
I didn't put that. Oh no, I did put this. Sorry. Schools are closing around COVID-19. Why do they call it COVID-19? Europe's travel ban will send Wall Street tailspin. Fed's impotent against market panic. Why? I don't want to go through the whole thing. Is our public health policy causing panic? Tracking the coronavirus. Let's take a look at this.
Let me bring in now Dr. Azita Shirazi, She's a California medical specialist to bring us up to date on what's going on with this situation. Let me ask you this question. It seems like what the government is doing as a result of its public health policies, it's freaking a lot of people out. It's freaking the market out. People are confused. People don't know what to do. Is it a necessary evil for the government to do what it's doing, regardless of what the effect might be on our society?
There's definitely a level of panic, and I think the main uncertainty is really how big this is going to get, but how fast. Some recent reports have shown that the highest viral shedding actually occurs early on. So it may be during a time period where somebody has the virus, but they're not really that symptomatic. They may be going on about their daily activity. So I think the crucial practice here is that we practice containment, and we have preventative measures, and we practice social distancing. And I think there is that sense of urgency because the rate at which this virus spreads is quite important. And if we're going to save inundating our healthcare system with a lot of sick people, we really do have to stress these preventative measures, not to make people panic, because probably 80% of people that will get this virus will have very mild symptoms. The problem is these patients or these people that will then pass it on to those that will not have mild symptoms.
So it's almost it's the cumulative effect of what this disease can do from carrier to carrier. The mortality rate is now something like 1.5%. That's not very high, right? Although it's higher than the flu. What do you say to all the people?
It's actually closer to 3%.
What's that?
Yeah, it's actually closer to 3%, whereas the flu is 0.1%. So the mortality is higher, mainly because this virus tends to go to the lungs in those that, again, may be more susceptible. And I think the reason there is a lot of public messaging out there is to have people take responsibility and put certain things on hold, cancel events, and practice that social distancing and practice preventative measures. Really, we really have to.
But that's what I want to get to with you. That's what I'm trying to get at. These things that you're describing, they're very extreme. Is it worth creating that extreme environment for the sake of being able to handle this, given the low percentage of mortality? Fair question?
Yeah, very fair. And, you know, it's not that we're being extreme. I think we are just voicing concern and letting people know that we all have a social obligation to prevent this from spreading so quickly. And people shouldn't be panicked or stressed or, you know, any of those things. But it's important for all of us to take collective action, meaning we're all in this together. Don't panic, don't stress. You're not going to die from this virus. But what we want to do is, as a community, as a country, to prevent it from spreading so quickly, which is why a lot of these events are canceled and so forth. Not because we think people are going to die, but because we want to stop the spread and practice preventative measures.
I get it, and you've made your case well, Doctor. Thank you so much, Dr. Azita Shirazi, joining us from California. We'll hopefully talk to you again.
Okay. This speaks to Canadians on spread of the virus. So Canada's talking about it. Taking a look at the other news. Oh, that's the vagabond. Let's take drop the deal. Let's try to take a look at how the real danger of this virus. The real danger of this virus is how it's going to affect nations economically. That's something I actually have a real interest in. As you heard from the doctor, I don't want you to take it out of context. You heard where the doctor said that the virus is not going to kill you. Keep it in context. The virus is not going to kill the average person, because the virus, it attacks your respiratory system. You have a weak immune system and it gets to your lungs. There's a significant chance you will die. You have a strong immune system, it reaches your lungs. There's a significant chance you will beat it, which is why, on average, let's say there was 100 people all at optimal health. Can't say perfect, at optimal health. Probably like out of 100 people, 3 people will die, and that is rare. So it'll be like 3% of that. So it's not a true pandemic that will, like, you get this virus, you're dead. It's not one of those. Especially when you can help fight the virus by keeping yourself in good health, which is why I showed that the whole thing about the Lyme shots. So you know you can get it and you can die, especially if you already have pre-existing respiratory conditions, and if you have a low immune system, and that's due to your diet and how your lack of exercise and all that other stuff, or if you're elderly. So if someone's like 195 years old and they get this virus, then they're at high risk of fatality. So it's just to keep these things in perspective, because I know she said that oh, it's not like if you get this virus you will die, and that kind of downplays it. Some people take that out of context and go, oh, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm just good. Her point she's trying to make is that just because the average person won't die from this because they can have like a good respiratory system, strong immune system, they want you to limit spreading it. A lot of people can have it and won't even know they have it. They get mild symptoms because, like I said, the virus is not as strong as you guys think it is. It just attacks a certain part of your system, and that's what actually kills you. But if you have a good immune system, it's not like AIDS or even, I don't even know, SARS, like the flu. You get the flu, that can kill you. Like, that's hard to fight. It's harder to fight the flu than it is to fight this. If you keep your immune system built up, you can just beat it. So that's it's that's one whole thing. So I just wanted to kind of like put into context what she meant by that, because what she said, that was I don't think she meant to say that on purpose. Oops. I don't think she meant to say that on purpose, but that came out kind of irresponsible. So I wanted to do uh I wanted to kind of put some context to that so people don't lose their minds because she said something that she should not have said, because it's actually not true. People are dying from the virus. It's just that it's not the normal average person that's dying from the virus. So we can't sit here and say it won't kill you, because it does kill people. But there's something that's the real danger that can kill us: economic collapse. That's what can kill us. If there's an economic collapse because of this virus, then I would fear, well, actually, I would fear economic collapse more than the virus. So let's go and let's take a look at the how this, what's going on in the world. Let's go over to the economy for a little bit. Let's hear what these guys have to say. We'll put the Discord on mute. After that, we'll have a conversation about it. And then in the meantime, I'll try to get this game up and running.
Hey there, thank you so much for clicking on this video. You are about to watch the latest coverage, but before you do, portable.tv/download, that is our brand new app platform. Hello there, I'm Manila Chan. You're watching In Question, broadcasting live from RT America National Headquarters in Washington, D.C. The coronavirus pandemic is taking the world by storm, now in 114 countries, killing more than 4,000 people. Right here in the U.S., President Trump announced a sweeping travel ban, canceling travel from 26 European countries into the U.S. for at least the next 30 days, except for the UK and Ireland. That's all in an effort to avoid more infections. Now, this ban was met with anger and chaos from the European Union, who felt blindsided by this sudden move. Now let's move over to New Rochelle, New York. That's where the National Guard has arrived and is now assisting in what's being described as the largest cluster of COVID-19 infections in the country. Schools and other buildings in the city temporarily shut down, while large indoor gatherings are completely banned. And stocks sharply down today as traders fear not enough is being done to contain the economic damage due to the virus pandemic. We are covering this breaking story from all angles. Farron Franzak is live at Reagan International Airport. She'll tell us more about this new travel ban. Trinity Chavez is live on the ground in New Rochelle. And Saya Tavenger is joining us for a check on the financial markets. So let's hop to it. Let's go over to Farron Franzak. She's live at Reagan International Airport for us, where the effects of the travel ban are already being felt. Farron?
Yeah, Manila, saying that airports in Europe are pretty busy today is quite the understatement, because U.S. travelers, they are trying to get back here in the United States before that ban goes into effect tonight at midnight. But then you also have travelers from Europe that had vacations scheduled to come here to the U.S., and they're looking to either reschedule those or cancel them altogether after what the president said last night. Take a listen.
Older Americans should also avoid non-essential travel in crowded areas. My administration is coordinating directly with communities with largest outbreaks, and we have issued guidance on school closures, social distancing, and reducing large gatherings.
Now, Trump made that announcement just hours after the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic. Now, again, that travel ban goes into effect tonight at midnight for those 26 countries in about 12 hours from now. And all flights from Europe will be canceled except from the United Kingdom and also from Ireland. Now, Homeland Security officials did later clarify that the new restrictions would apply to most foreign nationals who have been in Europe's passport-free travel zone at any point for 14 days prior to their arrival in the United States. Now, following the announcement, the European Union actually lashed out at President Trump, saying that the illness does not respect the borders. Listen here.
The European Union disapproves of the fact that the U.S. decision to impose a travel ban was taken unilaterally and without consultation. The European Union is taking strong action to limit the spread of the virus.
And Manila, since the announcement, Americans across Europe again are rushing to those European international airports to get those flights back here in the United States. And it's been pretty busy again across Europe. And we've even seen some movement here domestically with, we had a high school group here that found out this morning that their news conference was canceled and they had to rush back here to get new flights back home to South Carolina. But across Europe again is where we're seeing most of those hard-hit areas. Here's what Americans overseas are having to deal with. Listen here.
We woke up in the middle of the night with all of our family members sending messages. So I was thinking that there would definitely be some things taking place. I wasn't expecting exactly this drastic of a change.
It's being handled in such a shotgun fashion that nobody knows what's going on. And one thing changes from minute to minute.
Now, as far as Americans returning home out of Palm Beach, Florida's international airport, one passenger did arrive Wednesday night who tested positive for the coronavirus. A fire spokesman says that the rest of the passengers were monitored, then released, and told to call their health department if they had any medical concerns from this point forward. The airport says that the plane was sterilized and the passengers were deplaned at a separate location away from those main terminals. But again, that travel ban goes into effect for those 26 countries tonight at midnight, and airlines across the globe are trying to help passengers who are from the United States get home as quickly as possible. And although the statement sounds pretty corny, these airlines are asking passengers to pack their patience. Live at Reagan National Airport, Farron Franzak, RT.
And meanwhile, President Trump's economic relief program due to the virus includes incentives like pushing back the IRS's April 15th tax deadline, offering small businesses low-interest loans to help them overcome temporary economic disruptions because of the virus. In addition, Trump says his administration plans to ask Congress to authorize an additional $50 billion for this program. Right now, he's welcoming the Prime Minister of Ireland and taking questions about his administration's plans about handling the coronavirus crisis. And our team coverage on the coronavirus pandemic continues with RT's Trinity Chavez, who's live in New Rochelle, where this containment zone is happening right now. Trinity, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so it's been a very busy day here for the National Guard here in New Rochelle, the first containment zone in the country. All this as many residents have been coming and collecting supplies from the National Guard, bags of food that have rice, canned goods, and other supplies. As this is the first day of containment, it's underway. Today, state officials taking drastic measures. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo deploying the National Guard to the nation's first containment zone in New Rochelle. Troops handing out supplies to residents at distribution centers. This as the World Health Organization declares the outbreak a global pandemic.
The numbers have been going up. The numbers continue to go up. The numbers are going up unabated. And we do need a special public health strategy for New Rochelle.
Schools, places of worship, and large gathering areas within the containment zone now closed for 2 weeks in an effort to slow the rapidly spreading virus. And while people will be able to enter and leave the area, according to some residents, many are staying home.
It's very quiet, very kind of isolated. I spend most of the day at home. Cancel all my lessons, my activities. I'm afraid to be infected, and I don't want to infect anybody else, just in case.
People are really afraid to go to the supermarket. They're afraid to go to the cleaner. They wear gloves to make transactions. Even I sent my husband to the post office and I said, wear gloves when you hand in the package and get the receipt. So there's a lot of anxiety, and we are often afraid to go out.
This is a first. I've never experienced anything like this.
This as the number of cases in the U.S. rapidly climb. Health officials are warning that the virus will keep spreading and matters will only get worse.
So I can say we will see more cases and things will get worse than they are right now. How much worse we'll get will depend on our ability to do two things: to contain the influx in people who are infected coming from the outside, and the ability to contain and mitigate within our own country. Bottom line, it's going to get worse.
Meantime, hospitals around the country now setting up testing sites for potential future testing. And here in New York, where there's more than 200 cases, officials are taking matters into their own hands. The state now looking to boost virus testing with private labs.
We're trying to develop as much good quality testing capacity as fast as we can develop it. We're starting to ramp up today to the coronavirus testing. We've been able to get the emergency use authorization to move forward with an analytic platform.
State officials now postponing the St. Patrick's Day Parade, an event that attracts 1 to 2 million visitors every year. Now things are slowing down here on the ground. As you can see just right behind me, earlier today, there was dozens of plastic bags and paper bags filled with canned goods, bags of rice and other supplies, and there was a lot of people here gathering, residents from all over collecting those bags. But as you can see now, sources are sort of dwindling. However, they are waiting for a new shipment, which is expected to come later this afternoon. However, this is only day one of this containment, and although it is the first in the country, we can expect to see more of these kind of zones throughout the country as this virus continues to spread.
Hey, Chavez, live from New Rochelle. Thank you. And it looks like more bad news for the stock market today as it continued to plunge, moving deeper into a bear market. The European exchanges aren't doing much better. To break it all down for us, let's go to RT correspondent Saya Tavenger. She's joining us live from the newsroom with the latest on the market. Saya?
Manila, investors are struggling to see the end game here as traders are hammering the sell button now, thinking the U.S. government has fallen way behind the curve on their coronavirus response. And for the second time this week, Wall Street temporarily halted trading this morning since the market crash was so fast, so furious that it triggered a key circuit breaker that halted trading temporarily for the first time since 1997. Now, this all follows President Trump's announcement on Wednesday night that the U.S. would be restricting travel from Europe for the next 30 days starting Friday. Now, the mayhem has very quickly spilled over the market, with the S&P 500 tumbling 7%, taking it into a bear market, ending with a 11-year winning streak. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones plunged 2,100 points for its worst one-day performance since 2008, also now in a bear market. Now, the Nasdaq was down 6 6.5%. And such a drop indicates almost every publicly traded company is struggling, but there are three industries really taking the most hit at the moment. The first one, airline companies. Today, airline stocks fell further on the news as the travel ban is another blow to an already battered industry. Shares of Delta Airlines plunged 15%. Among other airline stocks, American Airlines sank 18.5%, United Airlines tanked 16%, and Southwest Airlines fell 14%. Now, JetBlue losses steeped to 19% when a passenger tested positive for the coronavirus. The second victim of the virus, cruise ships. Royal Caribbean cruise has already lost 54% of its value over the last year, and recently President Trump assured cruise line companies they'll get help, raising hopes of a bailout, but a bailout most likely won't happen since Royal Caribbean has paid out almost $2 billion in dividends and has spent $900 million on buybacks. Now, additionally, Royal Caribbean is actually registered in Liberia, a known tax haven, which means that the company doesn't pay the U.S. government any taxes. So the chance of getting a bailout from American taxpayers, well, is near zero. Then we go to the other big loser here, crude oil. And here's the problem. The world is basically swimming in crude oil at the moment, and the glut won't drain anytime soon. Plus, we have a major oil price war happening at the moment. So in another hit today to energy markets, Brent crude was trading down by more than 8%, with WTI also down by more than 8%. Now, leading energy companies were badly hammered, with ExxonMobil declining 12.2%, while Chevron is down 15.4%. However, the oil majors had nothing on small producers, who some lost more than 50% of their value. Now, European markets, well, they aren't doing any better either. Also falling into red, London's FTSE dropped 6.6%. Germany's DAX declined 7.2%, and France's CSC shed 7.5%. Now, Italy's benchmark stock index, which has already dropped 18% this week, fell another 6%. Now, Manila, all these numbers may seem a bit overwhelming and a bit confusing, but the bottom line is that these three industries are way below the red. Manila, back to you.
And for the latest up-to-date information on coronavirus, head to our free-to-download app, Portable TV. There you can find an entire section dedicated to the coverage of COVID-19.
Okay, so let's see what we got here. So, guys, it looks like there won't be any games. Sweet and Savory says, I'm surprised you're talking about this, Triforce. Knowing you, I thought you'd barely give it any attention, but I guess I was wrong. It's a pandemic now, so you can't really ignore it. And he says, okay, so what's the plan? Taking precautions, gaming information from here. Now what? Earlier in the stream, which is I'm going to be repeating this over and over again. Until they come up with a vaccine, all they could do is quarantine and all you could do is get as much information as you can on the actual virus itself. This will actually teach you how to deal with the virus. Jamaica, prime example, we get hit with a lot of viruses all the time. I wonder why. But that's neither here or there. But we beat the viruses because of our health, and our health is based on our diet. And there are proper foods that you can eat that strengthens your immune system to fight certain viruses. This particular virus, the coronavirus, attacks your immune system and your respiratory system. So stuff like limes, grapefruit, pineapples, apples, oranges. Apples is kind of last on the list. I'm just giving you all the type of citric-based foods that can help strengthen, give you a boost per day. I take a lime shot earlier. I took one on stream. I just cut a piece of lime in half and bam, squeeze that in my mouth, circle it around my mouth. That literally makes everything in my mouth acidic and on an alkaline level, and that makes it hard for viruses to kind of survive in those environments. We are not going to be able to stop the virus from infecting us. The only cure that's going to come is when the virus infects you, and then your immune system fights it and creates the antibodies to defeat it. That is the only cure that's going to happen for now until these guys rush a vaccine out, which then I'm not even going to get into that. But in any event, I'm just giving out the precautions of what we can do, and a lot of people don't understand that the virus attacks your immune system and your respiratory system. So if vaccines, look at vaccines as offense. We're not going to get any offense anytime soon, so we have to play the defensive game. So we have to build up a wall of we have to build up our defenses for our immune system to be able to fight against the virus. That's all we can do until they can get a vaccine. When the vaccine comes, you'll have some people taking it. I won't. But and that's pretty much it. And then that'll get everything back together. As this will get everything together. Kalia says, yes, Kalia, yes. Yeah. So, but the real problem isn't the virus. The real problem, believe it or not, is the effect this has on the global markets. This will cause more death than this virus ever could dream it would want to create. Because how it affects the global markets will determine our livelihoods and whatnot. I'm like third world countries like us, like everyone's complaining. Oh, the supermarkets is running out of food. Buy up as much food as you can and blah blah blah. Well, I'm gonna show you like how third world goes. The farmers outside who are selling in their carts the fruits and the vegetables and stuff like that comes straight from the farmland. That doesn't go into the supermarket. It's not processed food products. It's just actual food. So we'll always have our pumpkin. We'll always have our rice grains. We'll always have our onions, tomatoes, carrots, lettuce, cabbage, and stuff like that. For vegetarians, this will not. This sounds like heaven for them. It will not be a problem. So we can eat. But if your entire livelihood of you eating depends literally on what's in a supermarket, um, you're going to have some complications, unfortunately. Let me get another news segment, and because I want to actually step away for just a couple of bit, let me see something here. When did this happen? Okay, so trying to keep everybody on up to date with what's going on in the world, how this virus is affecting us globally, why it's a pandemic on so many multiple stages, not just one, like multiple stages. Hmm, hmm. I guess we could just run through this.
Live. On the ground, things that affect.
All right.
Pretty much sets the table for what is going on right now in our world. My job, our job here on the news.
Let me pause it. So you guys, if you guys have any questions, because the game is not working for some random reason. So as long as I'm going to be streaming it for at least for the next 2 to 3 hours, I'm just my eyes is like kind of glued to the chat. You guys have any questions, any comments, post them in there. I'll definitely read them. Also, make sure you guys. That's another thing I want to do before I go. But like, I'm gonna put in a little short briefing thing here. Our Patreon is open, guys. As you always know, we're always continuous making content to kind of support the community, projects that we do that supports our community and the gaming industry as a whole and the culture. We do the significant work, the real work. And so any donations you guys can give us helps us maintain our monthly quota to keep everything running, the operations running, and the work that we do going. So anything as little to $1 to $5 to whatever you guys want to do will definitely help. Big shout outs to Deco for the $10 donation earlier. And like I said, our Patreon is back open and we got some stuff coming to you guys. Kalia, could you slide into my DMs on Discord? Got to talk to you about something. In the meantime, I'm going to leave you guys with this news in a minute, for a bit.
As here on RT America is to try and, as much as possible, put everything in perspective for you by trying to break it into its proper parts. First, what's actually happening on the ground, things that affect how we actually live our lives. For example, sports in America, as of right now, are, for the most part, shut down. college basketball tournaments, baseball, hockey, soccer, pretty much all of it. Events, entertainment, massive cancellation. Broadway, for example, an American institution, right? Shut down. Travel from Europe stopped. School after school and colleges and universities are telling their students, stay away, we don't want you on campus. Instead, we're going to do the coursework somehow online. We're going to try and drill down on all of this for you, but let me update you on the second part of this story, which is the economy. The stock market had to be halted today because by 11 a.m. this morning, the Dow was crashing. The Dow finished down about 2,350 points. It recovered for a while when, get this, when the Fed suddenly announced that it would provide banks with money to remain liquid, right? But even that was short-lived, which really makes us wonder, right? Stay with me here. So the Fed announced that it's going to supply banks with trillions of dollars. Now, you see that right there? See that little hop right there on that graph? So they give them trillions of dollars, and what happens? The Dow comes charging back up, and then about a half hour later, it goes back down again, right there. See that? Goes back down again. But then it starts going back down another 1,000 points in the other direction. And by the way, the money that the Fed is making available, that caused that blip right there, for that momentary blip, the money is astronomical. Listen to this. I want to take you through this. I want you to understand what these numbers are. So the Fed is putting $500 billion in today. $500 billion with a T, okay? They're going to put another $500 billion in tomorrow. And then the next day, they're going to put another $500 billion in. And then they're going to continue putting in more than $1 trillion for a month, every month, for the foreseeable future. Oh, and tonight we're hearing that interest rates are going to be lowered again, probably within days. Add to that the stimulus package of somewhere between 70 to 80, who knows, maybe, $90 billion by the time Congress and the Democrats and the White House are done, that the president and Congress are now working on. And what you have is a giant government Bigfoot of the U.S. economy. Not judging, just saying, right? Our government and the Fed are essentially throwing the kitchen sink at the capitulation that we're experiencing from the economic standpoint. But so far, the problem is it's not working. So far, okay? That doesn't mean it's not going to work. It just means that we're, I guess, not there yet. And then there's the concern that in the process of attacking the problem, we don't run out of bullets. Because then what? Like we've been saying, if you use up all your tools and you got no tools, how do you put it out? How do you put out the fire? We have so much to get to on this show, and we're going to do it right here on the News with Rick Sanchez, where, as you know, we believe it's just time to do news again. Okay, let's get to the questions, shall we? The questions we think you'll be asking tomorrow. Why is the market not responding so far to the help that the Fed gave it today? All that money, all this stuff, it's not working. What's it like inside the quarantine zone in New York, surrounded by the National Guard? And how will the world of sports be affected by bans on public gatherings? This is nuts, right? All right, let's begin tonight at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's just a block from this desk right here, and it's where the president tried to calm fears last night, but unfortunately didn't seem to work. Tonight he's also being asked to calm fears about his own health, did you know? Because he's now been in the presence of at least 2 people who have tested positive for the coronavirus. The latest news is a member of the Brazilian government who met with Mr. Trump and Vice President Pence just this past weekend. That guy, he's tested positive for the coronavirus. The White House says the situation is being assessed. So we got Peter Oliver. He's going to be reporting on the news outbreaks from, on the new outbreaks, I should say, from Germany, Berlin. Trinity Chavez, our correspondent in New York, is in New Rochelle to bring us the latest on that city that's under quarantine right now. But we're going to begin with Farron Franzek. She's joining us tonight from Reagan National Airport right here in Washington, D.C.
Well, saying that airports across Europe are having a pretty busy day today is an understatement, as American citizens are scrambling to get back before that countdown ends at midnight Friday evening, where that travel ban is going to go in place. You have Americans trying to get home. You also have some Europeans that had scheduled vacations in the United States that are either trying to reschedule those vacations or canceling them altogether, as the president said this on Wednesday evening. Take a listen.
Older Americans should also avoid non-essential travel in crowded areas. My administration is coordinating directly with communities with largest outbreaks, and we have issued guidance on school closures, social distancing, and reducing large gatherings.
Now, Trump made that announcement just hours after the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic. Again, that travel ban goes into effect midnight Friday, and all flights from Europe will be canceled except from the United Kingdom and Ireland. Now, Homeland Security officials did later clarify that the new restrictions would apply only to the most foreign nationals who have been in Europe's passport-free travel zone at any point for 14 days prior to their arrival in the United States. Now, following the announcement, the European Union actually lashed out at President Trump, saying that the illness does not respect borders. Now, again, that travel ban goes into effect Friday at midnight, and airlines are really trying to help and working diligently to get those Americans home before that deadline. But they are telling passengers, as corny as it sounds, to pack your patience. For the news with Rick Sanchez, I'm Farron Franczak.
Well, with the world split over the best way to try and deal with the coronavirus as it continues to spread, what we're seeing is a spat emerging between EU leadership and the US President Donald Trump. This is after the president announced a ban on travel for foreign nationals from within the Schengen zone in Europe to the United States. Apparently in a move he made, well, without consulting his allies on this side of the Atlantic. The president, though, says it was necessary.
To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. The new rules will go into effect Friday at midnight.
The coronavirus is a global crisis, not limited to any continent, and it requires cooperation rather than unilateral action. The European Union disapproves of the fact that the US decision to impose a travel ban was taken unilaterally and without consultation.
Well, Donald Trump's ban comes after the World Health Organization declared coronavirus to be a global pandemic. But the more you look at it, the more it seems, well, pretty arbitrary, really. Those nations that it involves are the 26 that make up the Schengen zone. It doesn't include the United Kingdom. It doesn't include Ireland. There's absolutely nothing to stop somebody, say, flying from here, where I am in Berlin, over to London and then on to the United States.
A very busy day here in New Rochelle, which is considered to be the epicenter of the outbreak of the coronavirus here in New York. The National Guard touching down today. They've been handing out bags of food all day. As you can see behind me, they recently just got another shipment, and a line is already starting to form within minutes of the delivery. All this as the first day of the 14-day containment period is underway. Today, state officials taking drastic measures. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo deploying the National Guard to the nation's first containment zone in New Rochelle. Troops handing out supplies to residents at distribution centers. This as the World Health Organization declares the outbreak a global pandemic.
The numbers have been going up. The numbers continue to go up. The numbers are going up unabated. And we do need a special public health strategy for New Rochelle.
Schools, places of worship, and large gathering areas within the containment zone now closed for 2 weeks in an effort to slow the rapidly spreading virus. And while people will be able to enter and leave the area, according to some residents, many are staying home.
It's very quiet, very kind of isolated. I spend most of the day at home. Cancel all my lessons, my activities. I'm afraid to be infected, and I don't want to infect anybody else, just in case.
People are really afraid to go to the supermarket. They're afraid to go to the cleaner. They wear gloves to make transactions. Even I sent my husband to the post office and I said, wear gloves when you hand in the package and get the receipt. So there's a lot of anxiety, and we are often afraid to go out.
This is a first. I've never experienced anything like this.
This as the number of cases in the U.S. rapidly climb. Health officials are warning that the virus will keep spreading and matters will only get worse.
So I can say we will see more cases and things will get worse than they are right now. How much worse we'll get will depend on our ability to do two things: to contain the influx in people who are infected coming from the outside, and the ability to contain and mitigate within our own country. Bottom line, it's going to get worse.
Meantime, hospitals around the country now setting up testing sites for potential future testing. And here in New York, where there's more than 200 cases, officials are taking matters into their own hands. The state now looking to boost virus testing with private labs.
We're trying to develop as much good quality testing capacity as fast as we can develop it. We're starting to ramp up today to the coronavirus testing. We've been able to get the emergency use authorization to move forward with an analytic platform.
State officials now postponing the St. Patrick's Day Parade, an event that attracts 1 to 2 million visitors every year. Right now, it's unclear whether or not these kind of supplies will continue to be handed out to the residents here in New Rochelle for the whole duration of the containment period. However, it is only day one, and this is the very first containment zone that has been established in the country. And while that is the case, it's likely we will see more of these areas popping up throughout the country in the coming days and weeks. Reporting in New Rochelle, in New York, Trinity Chavez, RT.
All right, three very important reports to give us a perspective of what's going on with this story. Let me bring in now Dr. Azita Shirazi. She's a California medical specialist to bring us up to date on what's going on with this situation. Let me ask you this question. It seems like what the government is doing as a result of its public health policies, it's freaking a lot of people out. It's freaking the market out. People are confused. People don't know what to do. Is it a necessary evil for the government to do what it's doing, regardless of what the effect might be on our society?
There's definitely a level of panic, and I think the main uncertainty is really how big this is going to get, but how fast. Some recent reports have shown that the highest viral shedding actually occurs early on. So it may be during a time period where somebody has the virus, but they're not really that symptomatic. They may be going on about their daily activity. So I think the crucial practice here is that we practice containment, and we have preventative measures, and we practice social distancing. And I think there is that sense of urgency because the rate at which this virus spreads is quite important. And if we're going to save inundating our healthcare system with a lot of sick people, we really do have to stress these preventative measures, not to make people panic, because probably 80% of people that will get this virus will have very mild symptoms. The problem is these patients or these people that will then pass it on to those that will not have mild symptoms.
So it's almost it's the cumulative effect of what this disease can do from carrier to carrier. The mortality rate is now something like 1.5%. That's not very high, right? Although it's higher than the flu. What do you say to all the people?
It's actually closer to 3%.
What's that?
Yeah, it's actually closer to 3%, whereas the flu is 0.1%. So the mortality is higher, mainly because this virus tends to go to the lungs in those that, again, may be more susceptible. And I think the reason there is a lot of public messaging out there is to have people take responsibility and put certain things on hold, cancel events, and practice that social distancing and practice preventative measures. Really, we really have to.
But that's what I want to get to with you. That's what I'm trying to get at. These things that you're describing, they're very extreme. Is it worth creating that extreme environment for the sake of being able to handle this, given the low percentage of mortality? Fair question?
Yeah, very fair. And, it's not that we're being extreme. I think we are just voicing concern and letting people know that we all have a social obligation to prevent this from spreading so quickly. And people shouldn't be panicked or stressed or, any of those things. But it's important for all of us to take collective action, meaning we're all in this together. Don't panic, don't stress. You're not going to die from this virus. But what we want to do is, as a community, as a country, to prevent it from spreading so quickly, which is why a lot of these events are canceled and so forth. Not because we think people are going to die, but because we want to stop the spread and practice preventative measures.
I get it, and you've made your case well, Doctor. Thank you so much, Dr. Azita Shirazi, joining us from California. We'll hopefully talk to you again. So let's talk now about these, I guess, extreme measures, some are calling them, that are taking place. Because this story is moving so fast, we've decided to dedicate a segment every single night to try and keep you up to date on what's going on. Let's go now to our global coronavirus update desk. Michelle Greenstein is manning it for us. Start us off, Michelle.
Sure thing, Rick. I've got several stories for you. The first one is coming to us from Los Angeles. Disneyland is closed for the rest of the month. So is another theme park, California Adventureland. And in fact, they have to do this since California is recommending that all gatherings of 250 people or more be canceled across the entire state. Now, also in Los Angeles, new guidelines about eating at restaurants. The first one is, if you're part of one of those vulnerable groups like the previous guest just mentioned, if you're pregnant, if you're elderly, if you have these underlying health issues, especially in the lungs, just stay at home. Please avoid eating at restaurants entirely, and please avoid going to any public spaces. The second guideline is that from now on, all self-serve buffets will now have servers serving you food, so in order to kind of avoid cross-contamination between people touching their own food. Okay, that's Los Angeles. Now let's talk about New York. Broadway is going dark. All Broadway theaters are shutting their doors until April 13th or until further notice. And this just minutes ago, the Tribeca Film Festival is also postponed. In fact, the entire state of New York, Rick, has banned gatherings of over 500 people. The exceptions are schools, hospitals, nursing homes, and mass transit. In fact, New York City just declared a state of emergency this afternoon, and so has the most populous county in Florida. In a statement, the mayor of Miami-Dade said that although they, quote, do not have community spread at this time, the county wants to take preemptive steps to keep it that way. By the way, their public schools are going to stay open. But let's talk about some of the places in the U.S. where school will be closed. Maryland, Connecticut, Washington State, New York, and Tennessee. And by the way, Rick, this applies all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade. So this means hundreds of thousands of students will be out of school in the coming days. And one more point while we're on the United States, Senator Lindsey Graham has decided to quarantine himself. He's the 9th member of Congress to take a step like this. In fact, another newsmaker, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, is self-isolating as well. So that's the United States. Let's move on to the global stage. In Italy, they're literally shutting down all restaurants and bars. In fact, I've got some video that I'm going to show you. This is what the streets of Rome look like at this moment, completely empty. In fact, Rick, some businesses, especially small businesses, are so stressed and angry about this that they're asking for tax relief from the Italian government. They say the government needs to step up and help them out because they're going to be losing so much money, and being closed for just a few weeks could really be a financial death sentences for some of these smaller businesses. By the way, this comes after 196 people in Italy died in just 24 hours. That's according to Italy's Civil Protection Agency. Now, in Greece, they just made an announcement that all theaters, playgrounds, gyms, courts are officially closed, all of these kind of public event spaces. And in Iran, an advisor to Iran's supreme leader has actually just tested positive for COVID-19. Finally, in China, Beijing officials have ordered anyone entering the country to confine themselves at home for 14 days, effective immediately. And to close it out, before I send it back to you, it looks like NASCAR will go on as scheduled, but the upcoming races in Atlanta and Miami will have no fans at the track.
All right, Michelle, thanks so much. Boy, that's a lot of stuff going on. I'm glad we have you there. Now, the Dow was down about 8% today, one of the worst market collapses in Wall Street's history, and nobody seems to know where the bottom is. The Fed and the president tried to calm fears, but it didn't work. Joining us now, Jeff Small. He's the president of Arbor Financial. What do you make of of what the Fed did and the tepid reaction to what the Fed did? Well, the Fed can't control the decrease in supply chains that might occur, the lack of consumerism that's going to occur from economic mobility being severely stifled just from the lack of movement in our populace and our economy. There's going to be significant decreases. And technically, Rick, the stock market might be overpriced right now as this transitions into really bad top line and bottom line numbers.
Overpriced? The stock market, given the losses, 20% across the board? Why would you say that? That's interesting. Tell me more.
Well, it's 26%. We've hit from the peak till today, 26%, the fastest decline in a little bit under 3 weeks that we've ever had in history. The second fastest decline was 1929, where it took 28 days to get to this point.
Yeah.
But I say that for a reason. I say that because when we look at what's happening with the fact that people aren't going to be spending money, they're staying home. We're basically quarantining people already, and it's a great thing for us to do that. We should use social mitigation tactics. But there's going to be a loss of momentum in the economy. The amount of money that's circulating in motion that people are spending is getting ready to fall off the cliff. The lack of travel, hospitality, and leisurely globally is going to put a 5% hit in GDP, and there's no doubt we're going to experience some type of a recession. The best case scenario is we go through 2 quarters of pain, the next 2 quarters, and we start to recover as we start to contend with the virus and rates of infection begin to drop. If we can have that effect, that's the best case scenario to get us out of this. But if tens of millions of people end up capturing this, this might take 18 to 24 months to work its way through.
Wow. You know what? You're a good guest. You really have your finger on the pulse of this situation. We're glad we had you on. Can't wait to get you back and have this discussion once again as this situation continues to develop. Thank you so much. Let's do this now. Tonight, the legal team for whistleblower Chelsea Manning has confirmed that she tried to kill herself in prison. Now, remember, we told you this last night. Now it's official. She's been there for more than a year, raises questions about her incarceration in general, but there's now a very dramatic development on this story. Just this afternoon, a judge ruled that Manning should be released from her jail cell. Here's RT's Rachel Blevins.
The sheriff's office in Alexandria, Virginia, where Manning has been held for the last year, confirmed that she was transferred to a hospital on Wednesday, but they did not give any details about the circumstances surrounding her current state. Manning was set to appear in court on Friday in a petition seeking to drop the current contempt sanctions against her. She has been in jail since May after she refused to testify before a secret grand jury in a case involving WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange in March 2019. In a statement, Manning's legal team said the hearing is expected to go on as planned on Friday, and they noted that in spite of those sanctions, which have so far included over a year of so-called coercive incarceration and nearly $1 million in threatened fines, she remains unwavering in her refusal to participate in a secret grand jury process that she sees as highly susceptible to abuse.
Come on, fire!
Manning became known to the public back in 2010 when she released the largest trove of state secrets in U.S. history, consisting of more than 250,000 classified cables. Among them was horrific footage that showed the U.S. Apache helicopters gunning down innocent civilians and journalists in Iraq. After she was sentenced to 35 years behind bars for violating the Espionage Act in 2013, Manning's sentence was then commuted by President Obama in 2017. But her latest fight with the law involves the U.S. government's case against WikiLeaks and its ongoing attempt to force Julian Assange to be extradited to the U.S., where he faces life in prison. In addition to protesting the existence of a secret grand jury, Manning said in a statement that the questions she was asked pertained to her disclosures of information to the public in 2010, all of which she answered in extensive testimony during her court-martial in 2013. The news of Manning's suicide attempt comes months after a top United Nations official warned that her current treatment amounts to torture, calling it an open-ended, progressively severe measure of coercion, fulfilling all the constitutive elements of torture or other cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. While the state of the whistleblower's health is now in the spotlight, Chelsea Manning has repeatedly said that she would rather risk grave harm to herself than to ever betray her principles. Reporting in Washington, Rachel Blevins, RT.
In these times of political differences, what's the only thing that brings us together as a nation? What's the thing that always brings Americans together? You know what it is, right?
Video games.
Sports. It's the only time you see people of different stripes, different politics, different nationalities, different races together, hugging, high-fiving each other. Say goodbye to that now for a while, too. Massive changes, cancellations affecting almost every single sport in the good old USA and beyond, by the way. RT sports producer Regina Ham is here to take us through it, and I understand the list is getting longer as we speak.
You know, it's probably longer than a giraffe at this point, Rick. You have 19 basketball conference tournaments canceled. NCAA men's and women's canceled. MLB, NHL, you name it, the season is postponed until we figure out what is going on here. And it's absolutely ridiculous. You have fans who are saying, you know, this is good. Let's keep everybody safe. It's a public health thing. But you know what? It's just tough. We're going to be in a panic mode. And look at all these.
PGA Tour, MLS,
6
NBA.
weeks, no tennis.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to be wondering at home, what HBO show should I watch next?
You know, yesterday I was watching my Gophers play Northwestern, and I was all excited to watch them play Iowa today. First they announced no fans, then they said no game.
Yeah, it's almost like they were afraid to just do it off the bat because they didn't want to make people angry. But you know what? It's a public health issue. We got to be aware of that, even if we don't want to be.
Yeah.
And realize, you know what? 2-3 weeks. They're going to reevaluate. Most leagues have a plan to reevaluate in a month anyway.
But I'm hearing the Masters is now thinking about either canceling or just not allowing anybody on the grounds.
That is
Can you
the plan
imagine?
For the PGA. I mean, for now, it's a solo sport. They're already cording them off. It's fine. Just let the golfers play.
It's a Masters. I mean, they're killing everything. Where's the fun?
It's not.
Good stuff, Regina. Appreciate you catching us up on this. That's our news. Thanks so much for being with us. Got some friends looking for a newscast that's better than the rest. We're here. And tell them about portable TV. You know what's cool about portable TV? You literally can carry it with you wherever you go. Just stick it in your back pocket, and you've got me and Regina and the rest of us wherever you want to go. That's it. See you again, and it'll be, as we like to say, time to do news again.
Sorry about that, guys. I was in the middle of a match. Okay. This is still not working. The game just went out on me, honey. And I know for a fact that if I deactivate the game and stuff like that, it'll come on. I bet the scientists is all clapping. That's what Moses is saying. Okay, have you gotten any sleep, Try? Yeah, I got some sleep, just not a lot. I got like 4 hours of sleep. So I was gonna stream for about 3 to 4 hours. So I got minimum an hour and 20 minutes to go before I take a power nap. Then I'm gonna come, but then I got some other stuff I gotta do throughout the day. I just put on the stream because I know a lot of people, it's Friday, there's a lot of nonsense going on, and some people want to try to figure out all this madness. So I kind of want to help out by just trying to give some type of advice about regarding the situation. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm just trying to give some advice out here how people can deal with the situation. For those who are new to the chat, let me take a look right now. For those who are new here, we have 17 people in the YouTube, 1 person on Twitch, 1 person on Facebook. If you guys are new here, right, listen, I'm not a scientist. I'm none of that. Everyone is staying in playing Animal Crossing. Yes, that's another thing. The best thing to do in a situation like this, guys, take your lime shot citrus. We're talking about limes, lemons, grapefruits, pineapples, oranges. You need to get your citrus, get your calcium up, no, not your calcium, get your niacin up, get your vitamin C up. This helps boost the immune system, not to mention your fruits and your vegetables. Try to go easy on the meats, the dead foods such as fish, chicken, beef, and pork, and all that other stuff. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell people, meat eaters, don't eat any more meats, because you're going to do what you're going to do. But in a situation like this, you need to be in tip-top immune position as possible. So go easy on it if you can. Right. Uh, Drink a lot of alkaline water. Keep your immune system up. Get a lot of rest. Exercise. This will help you to be able to fight this virus that's happening right now. That's the best way to put it. Andreas, what's going on, man? Best we could do is go on with our life as normal as possible and just be safe. I just bought Animal Crossing Switch, but driving around. Animal Crossing came out today. I thought it was March 20th. Oh, you bought the Animal Crossing Switch, not the game, just the Nintendo Switch version of the animal, like, yeah, I see like the themed, the Animal Crossing themed Switch. Okay, all right. It's in America. They have a Switch that it's the theme of the Switch is Animal Crossing. Yeah, you could get the decals for it. He says everyone is staying in playing Animal Crossing. Video game players can just deal with this situation in a better way than anyone else. Keep ourselves busy playing some video games. So like we're good. Um, uh, I said for about I'll be on for about 3 to 4 hours taking Q&A for anyone who has any questions. I'm trying to give us the best advice. I'm trying to inform people about the virus in the best way as possible. The virus catching the you can catch the virus easier than the flu, but it has a lower fatality rate than the flu, which is why I'm trying to let everybody know there's a great chance you will not be able to avoid catching this virus. You're going to catch the virus, and since there since there isn't any vaccine for it, we have nothing to fight against it. The best we can do is defend against it. So you got to step your immune system game up, get your Lyme shots and all that other stuff. You guys got to make it happen. Go to your nearest grocery store, grab a lime, buy a lime, guys. It's very simple. Every morning that you get up, every night that you go to sleep, you get a lime, you cut it in half. One half in the morning, you squeeze it in your mouth, you swivel it around in your mouth. Boom, you're good. You go through your day right before you go to sleep at night. The very same thing. Bam. I've shown this to other people earlier who were jumped in the stream who didn't see this, right? If you don't have this is full screen, right? Onion. Cut your onion. Put it in front of you or wherever you're going to be at for most of the day. Onions suck up back massive levels of bacteria and viruses in the air. Yep, we can't call it a cure or remedy because the pharmaceutical industry, medical industry have problems with that. So we're going to call these natural hacks. Yes, so yes, that's what the onions do. Those who want to go to sleep, you can put the onion at the bottom of your feet, sucks out all the toxins out of you. Natural hacks. And these things will help keep your immune system beefed up, ready for that virus to come. When you see that virus, you see the virus. You see it. You see the virus. So right here, that what you guys are looking at is a real-time list of like the different types of things going on in the world. Um, you guys could check that out as well. Actually, I should kind of just try to keep everybody informed and and keep everybody calm and give whatever advice I can to help you guys out. So I'm taking questions and so forth. So if you guys have any questions, drop them, man. Make sure you drop them. Drop them like it's hot. Onions are my favorite. Yeah, everybody should be eating onions in their food anyway. Let me take a look here. Look like it's balloon. Okay, that's what he's saying. It's happening. Tea. Yes, a lot of tea is good. Onions also. Oh.
I am still in Asia.
Oh, Phil, what's going on? How is it going on
Uh,
down there in the Philippines?
they implemented a lockdown on the entire city and country.
So you can't leave.
I guess I'm now a resident.
You guess you're what?
I am now a Filipino resident.
Oh. Uh,
I'm kidding. Well, the lockdown's for domestic shit, and They're allowing us to.
Well, you're cutting out. You're cutting out. Hold on for a second. Why are you cutting out? Let me turn you up a little bit.
I'm on third internet to third world internet.
Oh, you're on third world. Is it? What's going on, Frank? So what's the situation? When are you looking to come back to the United States?
Monday night, so I'll be back.
Are you going through Europe to get to the United States?
No, I'm going through Korea.
Okay, because I was about to say that they're not taking any travel as of tonight. They're not taking any travel from the UK.
Dude,
No.
Korea's fucked too. I'm so lucky that they're even allowing me into the country. I'm about to get quarantined when I go back.
Oh yeah, they're gonna quarantine you when you come back. I'm over here. I'm actually
Fuck this
streaming.
motherfucker. I'll die first. I'll
I'm
fight
I'm
this
s-
motherfucker.
I'm streaming, and in any event, the 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 thing here regarding like this is that your um y- y- people that don't understand that there's no way to avoid getting this disease this virus. Everyone's gonna get it. Everybody's gonna get it because it's the way the virus is. It's too late. What they're doing to try to quarantine is
What I
too
say.
late.
Every time I walk into a room, that's what I say. Not about the virus. I just say everyone's.
Yeah, exactly. The chances of you walking outside and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna try to avoid the virus. Nobody here got it." That's
I'm
lying
not
to
talking
yourself.
about Dude, I'm not talking about the virus. I just say every time I walk into a crowded room, I say everyone's gonna get it.
Oh boy, you're something else, boy. You're something else. Everybody's gonna get it. How did it? When you was out there, you went to the land center. How did that go?
You think I went to the land center under these conditions?
Oh, I know. I thought you went before this. The conditions appeared.
No, the coronavirus started appearing. It's been doubling every day here. Doubling.
Yeah. Well, someone from a what's the name of this thing here? Some guy from the UK, some politician, whatever guy, came from the UK and brought the first case to, well, the reported first case to Jamaica. I always believed it was already in Jamaica. But the truth of the matter is that Jamaica's bodying the virus as usual. I'm like we've already had respiratory viruses like the Zika virus and these viruses are soft like baby shit. I'm like we just get the baby wipes and then we take care of them. So we're gonna body these stupid viruses. This virus is actually whack. Some people are getting tight that African people are not getting it. I'm like they're actually getting upset. I'm like, why are you getting upset? Shouldn't you be happy we're not getting it? But that's a whole nother conversation. So, but like, I just found that funny. Like that they're not happy that we're not getting it. But the Chinese are smart. They went to Africa. They're like, yo, we need some DNA. We need to vaccine up. So the brothers is out there, back home. We giving out the secret sauce. Uh, we're gonna save the world and not be credited for it, as usual.
Speaking of conversation, uh, all these fighting game events are getting canceled.
Yeah, Evo's done.
Next weekend it just got canceled.
They're all going to get canceled. Everything is going to get canceled, and it's not because they want to cancel it. They don't have a choice.
I
The
feel I feel so bad for Larry because he didn't even want to run final round this year. Everyone convinced him to. His people and like the FGC convinced him to run it this year, and now he's about to take a $20,000 hit for this shit.
then I think he's officially done now. He's like, all right, you know something. He's gonna say that's a message from God. It's done. He's like gonna hang it up. Period. He's after this. He's done. He's gonna hang it up. 'Cause you just can't keep taking these losses like this. He's just gonna be like, nah, I'm good. Thanks for everyone. Thank you for the 20 plus years. Blah blah blah. I appreciate it. But it's time to hang it up. Ah, but yeah, this is wild.
Hate to see it, you know.
Yeah. No, well, he was right for trying to hang it up earlier. There was no reason. The scene never really supported him like that to justify him continue going. So it's all that's all foolishness anyway. Dudes just wanted it. They just wanted to feel like, oh, come on, Larry, but like those same people were attacking him to begin with. Nori Cortex, everything is going to get cancels. Weddings, events, everything, because the U.S. has a national warning that anything with a gathering of over 250 people should be canceled. Now, the issue here is that this they say it's going to take anywhere from 6 months to if everything goes well, especially with the what's going on in the financial markets. This can be all solved in 6 months. If it's all solved in 6 months, then everything's back to normal. But if that's the case, then Evo will not make it. Evo will close will cancel before then. If not, it's going to take 18 months to kind of to get out of this entire situation. 18 months. That means, like, yeah, that's a good thing for content creators, because they can stay home and produce things. The only problem is that content creators have to now produce things at a minimum. Yeah, because people need their money now. The disposable income is going to be a very hard thing to come by now. Very hard thing. Although Trump just reelected himself, because they're borrowing money from the Fed. They're getting Congress to release trillions of dollars to keep the economy up. Because if the economy collapses, it's game. It's game. So, and what people want to hear right now, money. That's all people care about right now. No one wants to hear about no politics, no nothing. They want to hear money, which is kind of funny, because Andrew Yang was trying to explain to people, what you can't just throw money at the situation. Oh, that's socialism, blah blah blah, and then blah blah blah, and everyone's attacking Bernie Sanders for the same thing. And then guess what? Guess what's going to solve this situation? Money. That's what's going to solve this situation. Dead or alive, money. Money is going to solve this problem. And fortunately, the virus, although highly contagious, is very the fatality rate is low. It really attacks people with pre-existing respiratory conditions, and yeah, and elderly people with weak immune systems. So that's really the issue. So once we get over it's just gonna it's a matter of time. It's not if we'll get over the hump, it's when, and how much damage it how much damage. No, it's not. Like, get your Lyme shots. You take your Lyme shots in the morning. That's your first version of
when I was younger, I had pneumonia. So
yeah, I had pneumonia too. Sash has what you have, Sash? What's it, the thing you have with your chest, or what? Sasha's asthma. She good. She takes her Lyme shots. Oh, come on, man. Let's keep this African and natural. This is not hard. This is not rocket science.
it's over. Yo, it's over for me. I'm gonna leave you to switch my will. All right.
Switch your will. I'll be. Just let me know what you
No,
leave
I
in.
leave my switch in your my will. All right. I'm gonna leave it to you.
I'm actually real worried though, because like this really hurts the elderly, and you're getting up there in years, try for really.
Oh,
You're in
ha,
danger.
ha ha. He is very funny. It is to laugh. Okay. I may be elderly.
You fuck sin, man.
I may be elderly, but my immune system is ridiculous. I'm good. If you ever notice, that there is absolutely no worry. You ever notice, like, why does Triforce look like he's not worried? Listen, man.
Because you're ready to die. You're ready to die at any moment.
Oh, this guy's
You come to accept your mortality. That's why you sound like this.
This guy's over here, yo, man. Listen. Very true. He wants 50 billion approved to give to small businesses. Yeah. So what he's going to do is infuse the economy with enough money to survive the 18 months. But I'm telling you right now, wait till when you see the tax, when all of this is said and done, the taxes. If people think that this is going to be some free handout and that there is no backlash to this, oh, dudes have done lost their mind. You think the Fed is just going to give up that money? Boy, you people better prepare. Prepare yourself. Brace yourself.
I'm waiting for the first coronavirus victim to rise from the dead so the zombie apocalypse starts. I'm sure this is it.
Nah. And the minute that someone come back from the dead from the coronavirus, they will get clapped instantaneously. It'll be one frame. You won't even see it coming. It's one frame. Only gamers will be able to see it because we conditioned ourselves to it. It'll be a one frame death. Like, yo, people like, what happened? Like, oh, he got hit with the one frame. Like, what the hell is that? What are you talking about? Like, you would also Dragon Ball. You can't follow it with your eyes, but our eyes have been trained to see
What
this.
happened?
Huh?
They'll be like, that nigga tried to get back up. We put him down.
What do you mean you put him down? I didn't see it. I'm like, your eyes is not trained for this. We've been doing this for years. We've been playing this game for years. You just can't see it. Don't worry though. But he rose up and we put him down like that fast.
We put him down in the future. It was like a timer. We set it.
Oh man, but yeah. So I decided to have a stream. I decided to host a stream to kind of like inform people of like what's really going on with the virus. You know how the virus is really affecting people real time and all this other stuff to kind of inform everyone because there's a lot of people just going nuts and I don't they if they know if they're educated they'll be able to do better so or be able to handle the situation better than what they're doing right now but people don't know any better so and we just got to help them know more. A lot of people think once you get the virus you die. No, you get the flu virus you have a higher chance dying by the flu. North Korea already did that. Wait, what? Double tap. And I'm actually still tired. I only got like 4 hours of sleep last night because I was up on OJ's podcast. I'm chilling. I got up 6 o'clock this morning. So like I'm gonna do about 1 more hour and I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna get my little nap on. And then come back a little bit later with some games with my wife. The kids are happy, no school, no church. Like everybody, like all that stopped. All that stopped. There's no church. Wait a minute, we got a donation? Right now. Oh. Kalia says, make it so I can post some screenshots of helpful information for the virus in your Discord. Also, Jesus is Lord. All believe in him for salvation. Hold on for a second, guys. I gotta.
So Phil, are you trapped or what?
This is where I live now. You know.
So you can't leave?
Imagine thinking I was coming back.
Oh, this is your escape plan.
I got out when I could, and then I keep trying to come back, but they just keep pulling me back in to the third world countries. I'm just
Yeah, because well, I know Manila's in lockdown, so like,
See you
I
in a
know like
month.
I know resident people can't leave, but like if you like, can you actually leave or no? Like,
of course they're letting internet people out. What the fuck? I'll actually just start fighting their fucking president, like fist fighting. I'll just go onto like the stage and square up.
oh, okay. Oh, you fucking. I mean,
yeah.
that guy clearly
Bitch.
has shown no regard for human life. So.
Let me out, you little bitch.
How much longer are you gonna be there for?
Till Monday.
Oh, okay.
And
Are you just like locked in your room, like trying to avoid human contact right now?
No, I've gone outside. I went outside to a mall today. I licked every doorknob I fucking could. I'm coming back with this virus one way or another.
I've been trying to explain to people like you're gonna get the virus. There's nothing you can do about it. People don't understand that there's nothing that can be done about it. Everyone is going to get the virus. The virus has a higher contagion rate than any other virus in the last 30 years. It's just that its mortality rate is down. It doesn't have a high mortality rate, but
it's really good at spreading.
Rate.
It just doesn't kill everyone it
Yeah,
touches.
Thank you. Pretty much just said what I just said, but like in a simpler way. Hold on for a second. Kalia donated $20, and I'm obligated to read her donation. So she says, also, Jesus is the Lord. Y'all believe in him for salvation. You don't have much time left. If so, you will not be appointed to God's wrath and tribulation or not. Love y'all.
Well, you know, God can come see me. All right.
I wish God came and see everyone, but that's me personally. But we all know how I feel about this.
I'm waiting for God to come see me. I've been asking him, but he's just been bitching out. You know, he doesn't want to smoke. Clearly.
Imagine thinking that God is real. So, wait, we're on stream, aren't we? Yo, where's Emily? Where's Emily? I gotta give her this fucking
Emily.
this.
Who's
You mean
Emily?
Emma?
Emma, yes, I couldn't remember.
Emma, yeah. She's sleeping right now. It's her birthday today.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. Gotta give this COVID-19, you know, cough in her fucking face.
Okay.
Be like, greetings from America, idiot.
Yeah.
Damn, Buick James just kept it raw. God
Well,
damn.
I'm in a flex game right now with somebody, so I just came to see what was up. I'll be back in a
Wait,
bit.
do you remember what city she's in?
I actually forgot. I know she's not in your city. She said like where she is like 60 kilometers away from Manila or something.
Oh, so I know this is a question for you, Sahel, because I know
Okay, be
that,
brief because I gotta go.
yeah, they have not confirmed that your minister has got it, but they
No, he
confirmed his
doesn't have it.
wife.
His wife got it. So now the prime minister is in self isolation for 14 days until they
Cause
can
he has it.
confirm. Fine, yeah.
Cause he has it. Okay. All right. Cause like
No. That's a protocol. If somebody they know he was in contact with has it, then he needs to be there self isolation for
no,
14
I
days.
know that.
If
I know he needs to be in self
yeah,
isolation for 14
but
days.
he hasn't shown symptoms yet. If he shows symptoms,
No,
then yes, he
you
has
see,
it.
that's what I'm trying to say. You don't understand how this works. You can have this virus, and if you're in good health, show no symptoms. That's what makes this virus so dangerous. You
No. They will no. No, without the symptoms, it'll still show up in samples. If you take urine samples or if you take swabs from the
no,
back of your throat,
we know
the
that, but
bacteria will show up.
we know that, but we're saying that the symptoms won't show. You have to get
Yeah.
tested to know whether or not you have it. Which is why I'm saying people don't understand that you know how they go like, oh, this place has eight cases and whatnot. Those numbers are all false and wrong. There's more people that have it. Just people are not testing for it. That's what it is. A lot of people are just not testing for it, and whatever the case. So, but he's a prime minister, so they're just gonna give him an immune system shot boost, and he's good. Which is what people don't understand. Like they're just gonna say, like, man, I saw on the TV.
I don't think you can just give a shot that like you can give them white blood cell infusions, but you can't just
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's a boost of the immune system, and then it's going to fight it body, and he's going to quarantine himself for the 14 days, take the shots. Like Donald Trump got it.
Okay.
Like
okay.
let's keep it real now.
Okay. Listen, I gotta go, but all I'm saying is this, all right? Listen.
Yeah.
Even though the mortality rate is low, Triforce,
Yeah.
a lot of the people that get it and they survive is only because it'll get so bad to where they actually can't breathe, and the only reason they survive is because they're in a hospital that has a respirator, right? So because we've already seen this in a few places in Italy and in China,
Yeah.
where once the hospitals reach capacity and they can't take care of more people,
That's
the
when
mortality
the dying goes up. Yeah, I know.
the mortality rate goes from like 3 to like 5% because a lot of
Yeah,
people would die without care.
but the most of those people that happen are people who have preconditions with respiratory issues and the elderly. That other people that I'm not saying young people who are with good health don't need the hospital. Some do, but it's very small. Most people just recover without it. The average healthy person recovers without it. Average healthy person. It's like 1% of the average healthy person needs the additional medical assistance from a hospital. The people that's getting bodied by this is people with preconditioned respiratory issues and the elderly, which they need this assistance. But if you keep which guys, I'm glad Sahil came in here with this information because this is information for you guys. Because there's no offensive measures to fight this virus right now, the only thing we can do is get the defense game going. So yes, take your lime shots in the morning. Do whatever you can to keep your immune system.
Lime doesn't do anything, man. I'm
Uh,
sorry.
we fought the Zika virus, the Chick B virus, and many other viruses that are far more dangerous than the coronavirus. With what I'm telling these people, and we eat those down here in Jamaica and in Latin America as a whole.
But that correlation isn't causation. You're correlating the fact that a lot of people didn't get it with the fact that people were also taking lime shots or whatever. But that you
No,
don't know if
we're not.
taking the lime actually causes the fact that you guys didn't get sick.
No,
It's a fallacy.
no,
Like
that's
you
not
have no.
down. No, you don't know because you don't live down here. We have survived viruses far worse. That all viruses that go for the respiratory, just like the Zika virus. Remember, you guys didn't get it in America and in Canada and blah blah blah. But we got it down here. We fight it all the same. We've been. This is our fourth case of a viral infection in the last 20 years. And we're going to beat the coronavirus the same way. And there's a reason why it keeps working.
People are only panicking because it's affecting the lights.
It's because it's affecting the who? See, don't start some
The
shit.
light skin.
Don't start some shit, Phil. Well,
Niños.
well, it's kind
Is it only because white people are dying that
you know something? It's kind of funny because
I disagree, but it's fine.
It's the white people are getting infected and dying, which is why this is now a pandemic rather than just whatever the Zika virus was, whatever the mad cow disease was.
No. So the actual definition between a pandemic and an epidemic is an emergency in one country, right? A pandemic is a worldwide emergency, right? It has nothing to do with we just want to call this a pandemic, right? The reason Ebola wasn't called a pandemic isn't because people weren't taking it seriously. It's because by definition, Ebola could not be considered a pandemic because it was contained to certain areas.
Oh,
right?
certain areas. Which areas were those?
Africa, but it doesn't. But if
Oh,
it, but
I was
like,
just asking. I was just
yeah,
asking. I was not trying to. I was not
yeah, but
trying to.
that doesn't mean anything because, for example, when coronavirus was still secluded and contained to just like Italy and China and
Mhm.
South Korea,
Mhm.
it was an epidemic, right? It's
Yeah.
only after it spread to like every major country that yes, now this is a epidemic. Right, so that's what I'm saying. Like, fine, yes, you're right. It was in a black country, but it has nothing to do with the country being a black-dominated country.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that just like we have natural ways of surviving these things. Here in Jamaica, can't speak for any other country, and we have no choice but to use the old ways to survive it. You know why? There's no vaccine. So rather than sit here and just wait for the death to come, we're going to do what we can. And that's why I'm here to give out advice. I already told people, I've already made the preface in the stream that I am not a doctor. I am not a professional. I am not giving any professional advice. I'm simply just giving natural advice. Because until someone can come up with a better thing to do, all I can say is keep your immune systems up. It's already been stated. Finally, Donald Trump actually, thank God, he actually went on and made the
Well,
address.
there is something. There is something.
What?
There's this guy by the name of Patrick Dove. You gotta follow him.
We're not gonna do
I'll
that,
put it
Wes. We're not gonna do that, Wes. Like you could type that in, but we're not gonna do that. The feds be watching me. Listen, don't try to get a boy clap out here in Jamaica, B. Their arms is that long, B. Their arms is that long. Okay, it's that long.
But you said it till somebody tells you. I'm telling you. I'm that somebody.
Oh, you're that somebody? Just to let you guys
Yeah.
know, he lives in New York, Manhattan.
Yeah, I live in New York. Manhattan. Yeah, come get me.
Come get me.
Come get me. I got that Corona on deck.
But yeah, like I was just saying, I'm sorry, we're just telling people what they can do, the best that they can do. It's better than saying nothing.
Listen. There are things that boost your immune system, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying there hasn't been anything that's shown that lime shots increases it, right? Like there is no thing that proves it. Like, listen, maybe it is, right? I highly doubt it. There's no actual evidence that's like been published that shows it, and there's no reason that people would like want to hide it. Like, oh,
Let
we
me.
don't want it getting out that Lyme
Oh,
helps
that
boost the
that's not
immune
true.
system.
That's not
No,
true.
There's a lot of
because
stuff.
there's plenty of other
Hold
things that
on.
help boost the immune
Sahil,
system, and
let
they're
me ask
not
you a
hidden,
question.
and they're also natural.
Let me ask you
Yes.
a question, Sahil. Do you believe in holistic medicine at all or no?
Yes, I do. It's just that I don't like. Here's the thing, right? A lot of times when I'm arguing with you, Triforce, it's like, you've said it before, right? Oh, like, I don't believe in conspiracies. I don't believe that, the government's lying or whatever. No, I do. Like, there are plenty of cases where I do know that shit is being covered up, like fucking 9/11. We know because there's fucking
Damn, my
evidence that
man's trying to
it
get us
happened,
clapped, B. This is
right?
wild.
The fact that JFK
He's
was
gonna get clapped,
assassinated
not
by the
us.
CIA,
Keep talking.
we know this because there's fucking evidence, and the actual story they released doesn't make any sense. So like with 9/11 and JFK, the official stories don't make sense, which is why there's a cover up, right? But I'm saying with stuff like, oh, they don't want people to know that lime juice helps boost immune systems, or the fact that
No,
coronavirus
but
is a bioweapon.
there's many things. I agree with you. There are many foods that keep your immune system. I'm not saying that there's any one particular food. I'm just giving people advice of what food I use specifically to do. But it's not just lime is not the only thing, because there's many. This is what I said to people.
I think more so, rather than worrying about foods that boost your immune systems, it's more about staying away from foods that cause mucus.
Oh, which is what we said earlier. That's what we said earlier. But we was trying to stay away from Dr. CB because we'll get clapped. But the point is we let people know. They know the deal. Like, stay away from the foods. That's why I said, even if you eat fish, like me, I'm cutting down on fish until this pandemic is dealt with, because even fish, it's still a flesh, has levels of mucus. It's just not as bad as chicken or beef, and the worst of them all, pork. The worst of them all. Actually, the worst of them all is tilapia, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, so the thing is, people should really be trying to reduce their intake of any type of thing that causes mucus, because that's the breeding ground for all viruses. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. That's an actual fact. So you want to try to keep yourself healthy, get some exercise, do some proper breathing. You want to start getting that your lungs, stretch your lungs out and all that type of stuff. All of these things are just things that you could do to just help you best defend yourself until they can come out with the official commercial rushed vaccine. And I do stress the word rushed. Because if you think they can make a
They're not going to come out a vaccine for at least a year. Like, a vaccine is something that they've almost never freaking like released a vaccine not knowing if it's going to do anything. Like, there have been times where, yes, it's had like unwanted side effects, but I'm saying that like every other time something like this has happened, right? The vaccine always comes after it's no longer a problem, because containing it is generally a lot easier than making a vaccine.
Oh, don't forget your Robitussin, man.
Vaccines at best will be like 9 months for a vaccine, right? That's the fastest you can expect to get a vaccine.
Then and so now you see why I'm saying that dude's gotta defend up, because that's 9 months of no help. Like, so you gotta do something.
For still.
What?
You got your look. You got your. Here's 3 remedies. You got your Robitussin, right? You got your Canada Dry Ginger Ale. And then you got your egg drop too. That stuff will knock it right out.
Well, not these eggs, not today's eggs. Like, perhaps 20 years ago eggs, yeah. But if you're talking about these eggs, nah, these eggs they come from Monsanto. Nah, dogs, you don't want these.
Oh,
eggs.
and sorry, Vicks
I
Vapor Rub.
gotta go for a bit, so I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk in a bit. All right.
Yeah, and some Vicks Vapor Rub. I think those are the things that's gonna a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, those are the things that can help in the situation that we're in. Just that, like I said, the advice I'm giving, guys, this is not professional advice. I'm not trying to tell anyone that if they take this advice, they're gonna survive. Push to talk, Wes, because you have a lot of stuff. I'm just saying it's better than not doing anything. Cronorus says, What if the coronavirus is secretly a catalyst to stress the body and activate the mutant X gene? Gutex emoji. Okay, guys are stupid. All right, now it's getting out of hand. Now guys are just getting stupid. So let me see something what we have here. All right, I have a history of bronchitis infection, so I have to be very careful. Yeah, Robin. Like I said, Robin, get that lime shot in your mouth, squeeze it, swallow it, pause. Nori says, yes, definitely be careful. You know what placebo bro works, right? You can just think that it works and it works. Well, no. The reason why citrus works is citrus. You have no idea how powerful citrus is. Citrus helps reduce the mucus in your body, and citrus is a very it's like viruses and disease. It's hard for it to survive in citrus environments, so an alkaline environment. So that's why food, the stuff like onions, any type of alkaline food is very hard for viruses and bacteria to survive. That's why I use onion. Garlic also helps. Like I said, lime, grapefruit, oranges, lemons. These things all work. I'm out in these C virus being dragged from store to store. I hope he means using Vicks Vapor Rub as a topical agent and not oral consumption. No, he means as a topical. Like nobody in the Caribbean eats Vicks. Come on, man. I have my orange juice, emergency
All
seed,
of that shit, all of it was a joke, man. That's the hood remedies. Those are hood.
and immune gummies for now until I can get out and herbs and organic fruits and vegetables. Drinking hot lemon, turmeric, and raw ginger first thing in the morning can boost your immune system too. Very true. Very true. These are the things needed. These are the things needed to help boost the system. This is what I'm trying to talk about. This is what's actually needed. Talking to me? Oh. This is exactly what's needed, y'all. Just to let. Oh, what is going on? Reloading. Sorry, guys. I have to reload my Yeah, I gotta reload my thing here. I just reloaded my What's the name of this thing here? My restream. So I'll see what everyone says. Let me go check Facebook, see what's being said over there. I want to see if Andreas said it, dropped any news. He says facts. I'm hearing a vaccine is almost ready. What do you think? That's not possible for a vaccine to be ready. It's literally not possible. Not possible for a vaccine to be ready. If a vaccine is ready, they can keep that. I'm good.
That's not true. A vaccine can't be ready if it's a man-made disease. They can have that shit on.
Oh, that's true. That's true. They could have had that vaccine on standby from jump a while ago. Very true. I stand corrected, my good sir. I stand very corrected. Very, very corrected. Wow, that went over my head, Wes. Magic Johnson, really? Magic? I mean, really, you're gonna be just fine, my dude. Okay. Oh, there she goes. Let me see something here.
I'm good though. Nobody's sticking nothing in my arm. They ain't gonna stick shit in my arm. I don't care. It's either my body's going to get with the time and figure out how to beat this, or that's it.
Yeah.
I think I got a little bit of corona in my stomach right now.
So Samuel says, do I think society will totally collapse? No, don't worry. Society won't totally collapse. What I do like about what's happening is this kind of puts society on a little notice, makes everyone a little bit more human again. All of this
For
nonsense.
now, for
Yeah,
now,
for now,
for now.
it's all temporary. So this will be a nice little quiet time. Everyone can just calm down. If they made the virus, they have the vaccine, they wouldn't put themselves at risk if they were smart, but they're not at risk. No world leader that has this that contracted the virus is at risk of death. They're not at
It's
risk.
all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. Don't believe the hype. They got a vaccine on deck.
Oh man.
I said, people stock up on your breadfruit, stock up on your breadfruit, your jackfruit.
Yeah, Mom Dukes went out and she did some heavy shopping. I never seen this much fruits and veggies in the house in a long time, which I'm happy. It's like you gotta wait for a pandemic to come around before people just start, staying,
Damn.
focused to like the stuff, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, damn, man. This store.
The virus would be a lot more powerful if it was made in Wakanda.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. I'm
Oh boy.
surprised, everything gotta be a comic book reference, yo. Comic books just gotta get tossed to it. My
Yeah.
man, Sub Robin, right?
Yeah, so Robert.
My
Is it
man,
bad that I'm
son. You the
about to
homie.
order Chinese food?
You the
What?
homie, son.
Wait, someone said something?
Yeah, is it bad that I'm about to order Chinese food?
No.
What are you eating?
Yeah, I'm getting egg drop soup and chicken wings and plain fried rice.
Wait,
Oh,
egg
that's
drop.
gonna kill it. That's gonna keep you immune to the coronavirus for like 10 years.
Time
On
out.
that.
Wait, Wes, mute yourself because you have a lot of background noise or push to talk. So you're gonna get what again?
I'm gonna get egg drop soup and chicken wings and plain fried rice.
Nah, that's all mucus food.
Mm.
That's all mucus food. Wes, ouch. If like because one, it's a chicken. The fried rice, the rice is okay. It depends on how much of it you're gonna eat. All those foods build mucus in your system. If you were to get like, if steamed rice with broccoli, carrots, onions, and peppers, then okay. Egg drop soup is mucus as well. Heavy, heavy mucus. That's all. That's all. You can go on. You can just go on. You can just go on Google and type in like the foods that build mucus, and it'll tell you which foods do it. The only foods that don't build mucus is well, a lot of mucus anyways. The ones that grows out of the ground. That's the actual food. But we're not. When you said fried rice, chicken wings, and egg drop soup. See, that's good stuff. But are you black?
Yeah.
Yeah, you black. Um, I, I wouldn't recommend you risking it. But and how old are you again?
Oh, 14.
You ain't got nothing to worry about. Never mind. Whatever. Like I'm not even being funny. You ain't got nothing to worry about.
All right.
You're young. You're good. You're in that you and many guys your age you're in the 95% invincibility rate. You won't even know you have the virus. Do you have any preconditions to like respiratory? Have you ever had any respiratory issues, asthma, anything like that?
No, I'm completely healthy.
Oh, then no, then this is not even a issue for you at all. Like this is something you ignore. Like this got nothing to do with you. So yeah, yeah. Some people are like that's irresponsible for you. Try for us to be saying that. You're not a doctor to be saying that, but I know the virus. Trust me, I know the virus. We down here in Jamaica, we've been dealing with this. Like we're like, damn, we just came off of Zika. Like, and I'm not even playing. Like, when was it? When was the last Zika case here, honey? A year or two ago? 2 years ago? Yeah, we just got out of a pandemic in Jamaica with the same respiratory shit. And before Zika, there was Chick V. So it's like Like, damn, like, can we get a break? Well, we did get a 2-year break. Okay, so whatever. All right, so we got a 2-year break. So, and I was here for the Zic-V. I bodied that shit free. I was like, the fuck is, what type of disease is this? Like, whoever made this disease need to get back in the lab and try again. Failing, guys. This shit is not rocking. You guys just making these viruses too weak. Samuel, I used to have asthma. All right, let me read some of it. Do you think society? Okay, no, I already put it. I said if they made. All right, I know that. Okay, I wonder if they use this to push healthy people 2020. Maybe. Kisan, if they have the vaccine, it is $2.8 billion for a 10 cc vial. Where's the crab ragoons? What? I used to have asthma. Let me take a look at how far we are. 2 hours and 29 minutes into the stream. I think I'm going to do about a half an hour more. We'll talk a little bit more about it. I can't get the game back on, guys. I can't get the game back on. So what I'll do a half an hour more about this. We'll take a break. We'll come back for about an hour for a little lighter stream. I'll have my wife stream with you guys. She could play some video games and stuff like that with you guys. And then we'll have our usual. Oh no, even stream. Now let me stop. Ron says, I'm 35. I had the flu earlier this winter and I had roast pork yesterday. I'm ready to catch it and run through niggas like Sonic 2 bonus stage. Yo, Ron, you're stupid, B. You're stupid, B. You're for real, you're stupid. See, only black people make light of world pandemics. Like, come on, man. Like, you should see the jokes that they have down here in Jamaica about the virus. We have a virus. We have a corona dance virus. No, we have a dance for the coronavirus. We have our own dance for it in Jamaica. I am not playing any games when I'm telling you guys this. We have our own.
Because we're used to this still. We're used to all of this
used
stuff,
to this.
man.
This is
on top of slavery.
On top.
On top.
Which is why we go, when people go, no, this is not man-made. We go, nah, B, you don't go through this like how we go through it. This never in our history of our life do black people go through so many viruses. Like, come on, the Chick V, Corona, and the Zik V virus, 3 different viral pandemics happened to Jamaica in 1 decade. Fuck you, eat a dick. I'm not gonna sit here and believe that's some natural shit. Fuck off. Like, fuck off. Come on, man. Don't mean to be cursing like that, but see, people outside of us can ridicule them like, oh, come on, you can be conspiracy theory. All right, it doesn't happen to you as much as it happens to us. So of course you're gonna have that point of view. Of course you're gonna have that point of view. But before this, we didn't have all these problems. So how come all of these How come all of these viruses are just coming out of nowhere? Ebola. When did Ebola? We just finished getting over Ebola in Africa. Come on, man. So that means with it from 2010 to 2020, Africans globally in the Pan-African diaspora has got hit with Chick V, Zik V, Zika virus, Ebola, and Corona. 5 viruses in 10 years. You want to sit here and tell me that's natural? Come on, stop. And only one of the 5 viruses have hit everyone else but black people. And that's the coronavirus. And that's the only one that seems to be now a global issue. But when we got hit with the Zik, the Chick, the Zeke, the Ebola, it was, black people got to deal with it. And we dealt with it. We took it like, we dealt with it. We was like, word, it's like that. This is what we doing. We out here like this. This is what we out here doing. All right, cool, no problem. All right, cool. We'll deal with it. We dealt with it. Now we're not telling people that they should deal with it. We're just trying to help people deal with it because we have so much experience in dealing with it. And I wonder why. Damn, I now that I'm looking back at it, all these viruses, I'm like, shit, these dudes hit us with everything. We got blown up with everything. Dudes was playing Marvel vs. Capcom with us with these viruses. It was like Shinku, like got hit with a combo into super. talk about a shit show. Wait a minute. Okay. So how would they couple this with natural disaster, say a hurricane? Man, we body these things, man. That's all I gotta say. We eat these things. And they can keep sending all of these hurricanes, and dudes want to mess around with HARP, and at the end of the day, trying to get us, they're gonna end up getting themselves. So keep it up, boys. Keep it up. Uh, Let me check Facebook real quick. Oh, he says facts. I had nothing new on Facebook. Let me see what we have in Twitch. All right, we still got people there, and then we have 2, and then we have 17. All right, guys. Any more questions and comments? We got 30 more minutes left on the stream. I'll take a break. I'll come back. I could probably get the game up. If you guys want to have a Smash Room ready, I can get that ready. Actually, I gotta go out. I don't think I'm gonna come back immediately, to be very honest with you, because I gotta go out and grab some more lime. Lime down here. Every time we get hit with the virus, lime jumps up on the market, and they be selling them mad expensive. Like you would think, like this is a virus. Like sell them so every. I guess I think well, I guess selling them expensive helps because it makes people, it forces people to buy only what they can afford and make enough for everybody else. If they had made it cheap, then you probably have some person who just go and buy them all and then leave none for nobody. Still strong. Let me go to another piece of news. Let's get back on the news front. Let's see what we got on the news. And also, guys, like I said, our Patreon is open. Anybody interested in supporting our Patreon, as we're going to be coming out with new content exclusive for everybody, you guys can definitely check that out right there. What is being done? Oh, that's her. All right, we'll run these 2 pieces, which is 6, 8, 14 minutes a piece. Okay, so yeah, we'll do this.
Hey there, thank you so much for clicking on this video. You are about to watch the latest coverage, but before you do, portable.tv/down.
Why did that take so long?
And as Americans face the new reality of community spread of COVID-19, the shelves at big box stores are being emptied and even fistfights breaking out over basic goods. Americans are worried, and it's beginning to cause widespread panic across the country. So joining us to discuss the psychological impacts of this new coronavirus pandemic, Dr. Norman Freed. He is a clinical psychologist and also a professor. Dr. Freed, always good to see you. Thank you for being here. So,
good to see you, Manila.
Everybody is talking about the physical and medical implications of this outbreak, but nobody's discussing the psychological impacts it is having on our society. This is where you come in. Why are people panicking over COVID-19, and should they be?
Manila, thank you so much for asking that important question. It's important that we recognize that fear likes darkness, which means that if we don't shed light on the actual facts, our fears are going to run rampant and actually scare us more than they need to. Fear becomes our greatest enemy, and I feel as if psychologically there is an emotional contagion that rivals the viral contagion. And so when we don't know the facts, we begin to have irrational thoughts, and we begin to have actually irrational behaviors. Impulsive, frontal lobe type events where we actually don't inhibit our needs and we actually do things that we shouldn't be doing.
Oh, now speaking of that, doctor, we are seeing all over the place viral video of people getting into physical altercations at these big box stores, fighting over toilet paper and other goods. Can you explain to us what actually happens in people's brains when they come under this sort of stress, and in this case it's coronavirus, that would cause people who would otherwise not be violent to become violent?
Right, exactly. So what happens is that if we think about the neurotransmitters in our brains, we have something known as the frontal lobe cortex, which actually is the part of the brain that's known for inhibiting behaviors that we shouldn't do or say in certain places or situations. Unfortunately, what happens is that when we are placed in a situation where our back is against the wall and our anxiety is rising, the frontal lobe actually doesn't release as much dopamine, and instead there's more adrenaline, and the feedback loop creates impulsive behaviors, as well as I've already said, irrational actions. And so we actually stop thinking clearly and we start acting on impulse only. And the first thing we do is we engage with our sense of anger, our most powerful and most primitive emotion. And so when we engage with our anger, we end up doing things that we will later be sorry for.
Now, is that also where the fight or flight comes from also?
Correct, correct. So we have this response to fear as a flight, fight, or freeze response. So we either run from the experience, we fight the experience, or we become numb and shocked and do nothing. And that's very much a biological, almost primitive event all the way back to the time when we were cavemen.
Now, not to downplay the threat or the severity of coronavirus, but when folks are faced with this sort of fear, what sorts of short and long-term effects does this have on one's psyche?
I would tell you that what we're going to see is an increase in post-traumatic stress disorder symptomatology. Whether that's going to be short-term or long-term is yet to be decided. But let's remember the most important features of the post-traumatic stress symptomatology. They include a sense of numbness or a shock. This didn't happen to me, or I don't feel anything. It's also a hypervigilance to the recurrence of danger, which I call waiting for the next shoe to drop syndrome. We're always walking around saying, what's going to happen next here? And in addition to that, there's also flashbacks or unbidden memories of when we first heard bad news, or nightmares or daydreams that are intrusive in our thinking process. All of these create a triad of what I call a cognitive contagion, where we are beginning to become contaminated cognitively because of the traumas that we've experienced. I think we're going to see a lot of that in the near future. In addition, we'll also have personal life intrusiveness, where we may find ourselves less interested in work or less attentive at our work. Concentration will be impacted, as well as friendships. We may continue with this distancing socially.
Good point. Absolutely good point. I mean, we might, as a society, become more lonely because we're not allowed to be around each other right now. And lastly, Doctor, how do we mitigate, a friend or family member's fear in this time of pandemic? What can we do to keep one another calm?
Excellent, important question, Manila. What happens is that every one of us has a story to tell, particularly now in this scary time of our climate, all over the world. So there's power in story, Manila. The more we tell our story to someone who's capable of listening to all of our fears with all of its details without minimizing our pain, the quicker we heal. Every one of us has to find that person, whether it's clergy, a rabbi, a priest, an imam, or a therapist, or a really good friend or a trusted other. When we tell our story of woe.
That's wild. He said everyone other than a family member or someone you love. That's crazy. Whatever.
And fear, and share it with another who holds and bears witness to our pain, we begin the healing process. We lift our fear from a private place to a public, loving abode. This will help all of us in this world.
And hopefully stop these people from fighting one another over toilet paper.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because we all need to be good to each other.
That's right. Dr. Norman Fried, as always, appreciate you sharing your expertise with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Be well.
And our coverage on the coronavirus global pandemic continues now, with European nations reacting today to President Trump's 30-day travel ban on most of Europe. But curiously, 2 countries have been left off that ban, the UK and Ireland. The EU not too happy about this announcement. Here's what they said.
The coronavirus is a global crisis, not limited to any continent, and it requires cooperation rather than unilateral action. The European Union disapproves of the fact that the US decision to impose a travel ban was taken unilaterally and without consultation.
For more on this abrupt ban, we'll turn to former UK MP George Galloway. So, George, POTUS is getting a lot of heat for this sudden European travel ban, but he's getting more heat for leaving the UK and Ireland off that list, particularly because he has resorts in those locations. What do you make of all of this?
Wow! Well, to be fair, he has resorts in many places around the world, not just in Scotland and Ireland. My take on it is this. The United States government has every right to control its borders. It has every right to decide who can come in and who must leave. This is the principle of national sovereignty. And governments will live or die according to the wisdom of the decisions that they make. But they have the right to make them. I suppose it's the special relationship in action. We are, of course, the closest of historic allies, and we're divided by a common language, as I often say. As for Ireland, well, there's 30 million Irish Americans, and they've all got votes in November. So I guess that's what lies behind that. As for the European Union, this is hypocrisy, I'm afraid, on their part. After all, if you live in Milan, you're currently banned on pain of imprisonment from traveling to Rome. So inside European countries, there is a complete travel ban, a complete lockdown. So you can't really complain that you can't fly from Italy to England or from Italy to America when you can't go between one city and another in Italy. And that will shortly be true in Denmark, where they've taken quite draconian action just today, and it may become the case in Britain also. We have fewer cases, fewer deaths, 10 deaths now in Britain than they do in Italy. It would be therefore an argument that, well, it's safer to allow people to fly to the US from Britain than it is from Italy. At the end of the day, we need to take decisive action to limit the spread of this contagion. Otherwise, it could get completely out of control and bring about a real disaster in the world.
Now, George, you have been a longtime lawmaker yourself, I would say much of your adult life, a longtime public servant. What measures do you find acceptable to keep your countrymen safe in a pandemic?
Well, whatever is necessary, not more than is necessary, not less than is necessary. And if you must err, do more rather than less. You have to keep calm, carry on, be sensible, but be careful also. I was just thinking when watching your earlier package, we must kiss our wives and children and our mother. But we don't need to kiss our cousins, and we don't need to kiss our next door neighbors. In the current climate, it's probably best not to. It's probably best to observe certain rules of social interaction. Much as I love football, I don't need to go to the stadium at the moment. If there's a risk with 75,000 people there, if you support Manchester United, of us all hugging when United score. We can do without these things. They are inconveniences, maybe more than inconveniences, but they're sensible. The people in the front line should be tested. As I said to you yesterday, if Boris Johnson, I almost said Boris Trump there, Freudian slip.
Close enough.
If Boris Johnson pops up in front of me, should I hug him and shake his hand or not? Well, he's not been tested. He should be. He's meeting very, very large numbers of people every day. And that kind of common sense approach is the one to take. We have to observe the necessary niceties, but not more than the necessary at this point in time.
Now, George, on that note, speaking of shaking hands and what have you, and world leaders who should be tested, breaking just as you and I were talking here, Justin Trudeau is currently self-quarantining himself. That just broke moments ago. And earlier this week, as President Trump landed in Florida, he came onto the tarmac and shook the hands of supporters, and he specifically told the press, if I don't shake people's hands, can you imagine what the left-wing media would say, Trump not shaking hands, and that he would be criticized for not shaking people's hands? But do you think that's a fair assessment on Trump's part?
It is awkward. Look, I watched my son at football last night. At the end of the game, the coach told them to bump elbows instead of the mandatory and traditional handshake. It's awkward, but it's not a bad thing. And it's temporary, and it has a clear purpose. And so I'm not saying Donald Trump could bump elbows, but, it's possible to give a dry nod and a smile without embracing each and every person that you meet. And it's probably wiser to do so. As I say, if you must err, err on the side of caution, err on the side of doing more than you need to do rather than less.
And as you mentioned, Milan basically on lockdown. A Great Wall has been put up there, a coronavirus wall. People can't go in, people can't come out. That can't be any worse than a travel ban, as you mentioned. But my next question about this is, given all these fears and all these countries, whether they're isolating themselves from within themselves, or banning travel to other states, is this causing a nationalist pandemic as well? People are worried. People are worried about meeting Chinese people that they might carry coronavirus because they're Chinese.
Or people that look like they might be Chinese, like my own wife.
Right.
There is something of that, and it's kind of inescapable. I mean, I see that Trump's being hammered for calling it a foreign virus. It is a foreign virus. It came from somewhere outside of the United States, but that mustn't be allowed to translate into hatred of people that might once, several generations ago, have come from there. That's just stupid. That's not keeping calm and carrying on. That's not being sensible. We need to be united as we face this. We're going to have a lot of problems caused by historic failures. You see, China, I know people don't like to hear this, China is beating this virus because of the kind of state that China is. We're having problems with it because of the kind of state that we are. We have historic underspending in our health service, historic incapacity in our health service, and you have even more of that. We can't do anything about that right now, though we should be putting a good deal of effort and funds into doing something about it so that this kind of thing never happens again.
Absolutely. We'll leave it right there. George Galloway, always appreciate your time and insights. Thank you. Hey there, thank you so much for clicking on this video. You are about to watch the latest coverage. TV/download app platform. You'll get a sneak peek. The declaration made a little earlier by the World Health Organization. Worldwide, the virus has now infected about 121,000 people and has killed more than 4,200. Here in the U.S., there are more than 1,000 cases and at least 32 deaths. Earlier today, top federal health officials testified before Congress and warned that the virus will continue to spread and that large gatherings should be avoided in order to prevent further infections, and added that the worst is yet to come. RT's Trinity Chavez is joining us from New York with more on this. So, Trinity, will labeling this outbreak now a pandemic change anything?
Well, I think that's the question on everybody's mind right now, but I think that's exactly what the World Health Organization may be hoping for by officially classifying the outbreak as a pandemic, a decision that was not made lightly. It comes at a time where we are seeing the number of cases around the world rapidly increase. Let's take a look at the announcement that was just made moments ago.
WHO has been assessing this outbreak around the clock, and we're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
New York is also taking drastic measures to contain or at least slow the spread of the virus. The city of New Rochelle, where the cluster of coronavirus cases have broken out, is under containment, making it the first containment zone in the United States. Officials say that 100 to 200 troops from the National Guard will arrive tomorrow to help enforce the 1-mile radius under the order. They will help clean public areas within the containment zone, sanitize schools, and even deliver food if needed. The containment will last for 2 weeks, starting tomorrow. The governor calling this deployment a dramatic effort to attack the outbreak at its source.
This will be a period of disruption for the local community. I understand that. Local shop owners don't like the disruption. Nobody does. Local politicians don't like the disruption. I get it. This can't be a political decision. This is a public health decision.
And while schools and buildings that hold large gatherings will shut down for 2 weeks, most businesses and grocery stores will remain open and people will be able to enter and leave the area. However, according to some residents, many are staying home.
It's very quiet, very kind of isolated. I spend most of the day at home, cancel all my lessons, my activities. I'm afraid to be infected and I don't want to infect anybody else, just in case.
People are really afraid to go to the supermarket. They're afraid to go to the cleaner. They wear gloves to make transactions. Even I sent my husband to the post office and I said, wear gloves when you hand in the package and get the receipt. So there's a lot of anxiety and we are often afraid to go out.
This is a first. I've never experienced anything like this.
This as the number of cases here in the U.S. continues to increase, now surpassing 1,000 with more than 30 deaths. Now 18 states are declaring a state of emergency. Fears of the virus spreading even forced Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders to cancel rallies overnight. Many are blaming the rapid spread of the virus on the CDC over its lack of critical lab materials and testing kits. Meantime, the president's national security advisor, not mincing words today, blaming China of an outbreak cover-up. The Trump administration is racing to develop contingency plans that would allow hundreds of thousands of employees to work from home full-time. The administration even considering extending the tax deadline to past April 15th, while lawmakers are discussing a stimulus package. However, the president's response to the coronavirus outbreak has drawn fierce criticism from Democrats.
We are very worried about the president's incompetence and lack of focus on fighting the spread of coronavirus. We believe that his lack of focus is hamstringing efforts to address this public crisis and inflicting pain on the stock market. You know what doesn't help stop the spread of the coronavirus? More corporate tax cuts. Here's what we're worried about: that the president will pay attention to the special interests instead of the people.
Back here in New York, Governor Cuomo said today he is asking businesses to self-regulate and to keep half of their employees at least working from home in shifts. All this as more than 1,000 schools have closed across the country, impacting at least 775,000 students. Many institutions asking their students to finish the courses online. Vice President Pence, who leads the coronavirus task force at the White House, will meet with hospital executives later this afternoon, and then he will meet with President Trump, and then they will meet with bankers on the coronavirus response at the White House. But again, I just want to reiterate that while there is still a lot of uncertainty surrounding this virus, it's important to mention that there is still a large number of people recovering from the illness. Yes, the number of cases are increasing, but so is the number of people recovering from this, and that number is over 66,000 people worldwide, including a 100-year-old Chinese man and a 103-year-old woman who is now the oldest known patient to fully recover from this deadly illness. Manila, back to you.
Trinity Chavez in New York, thank you. The ceasefire in Afghanistan.
So as you guys can see, there was a 100-year-old Chinese lady who recovered from the coronavirus. Obviously, thanks to both natural and modern medicines, this thing is recoverable. And more people are recovering than dying by a large margin. So with that being said, it gives real context to the virus, so it lets a lot of people know more so about it. As for us gamers, um, the best thing that we can do for the next 2 weeks until we know what the rest of the world is going to do with this virus, let's continue to play some video games, meet up with the community. Although we can't meet up together personally, we can meet up with each other virtually. I'll have to get the games up and running later on today, so I'll definitely get that up for you guys. We're gonna take a break now. Let me take a look at this. Yeah, we've been streaming for about, yep, 2 minutes to actually 1 more minute before we hit the 3 hour mark. So this is my closing minute. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us. Stay tuned for a little bit later on. It is 2 o'clock my time, 3 o'clock you guys time, East Coast time. I should be back around 6 o'clock. I'll be joined with my wife. We'll have some games running with you guys later on tonight. And then obviously tomorrow we'll try to see which one of the Valkyries can come through and play some video games and whatnot. So let's try to keep ourselves entertained and occupied online where it's safe, no contagion and stuff like that. Remember, guys, to take your lime shots and eat alkaline foods, eat healthy foods, go easy on the meats. Take your time. No sugars, no fast foods, all that other stuff. Try to keep your health up during this pandemic of a time. And I'll see you guys in the next one. We're gonna be taking a break. See you guys in give me about 2 or 3 hours, and we'll be back. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel that you'll see here. And when I end this stream, I'll leave you guys some other information where you guys can continue to help support our stream and stuff like that. Oh yeah, like Nimbus said, don't forget to wash your hands and stuff like that. So yeah, don't worry, Basil, we'll be back. I know you just got in, but we'll be back. And this stream will be on Check the Empress Now's YouTube chat. I'm going to post the stream up into the State of the Empire Arcadia playlist of Empress Now, so you can watch this entire stream. Until then, guys, see you a little bit later on.